Are you tired of being subjected to rules and regulations that do not serve you or your family? Are you willing to go against the grain in the name of wisdom, freedom, family, honor, and trust? We provide simple solutions to complex problems. Take control of your own affairs in life. Tribe Up with Tribes and Trusts TV.
On our mission now, your time is up. Took us 400 years, had to size you up. Our word is born, no more dividing us. We now know what to do with all these tribes and trusts. I'm overseas with these tribes and trusts. Don't need no other keys but these tribes and trusts. Frequency sovereignty with these tribes and trusts. Watch me get families free with these tribes and trusts. Overstepping your boundaries, I balance you. I'm bona fide, fuck a challenger. Sent the revocation certified, fuck a manager. In control of my soul, fuck a handler. All these assets that's held for the tribes and trusts. Prophecies get fulfilled with the tribes and trusts. Heard they get out of jail with the tribe and trust. Fuck around, get you nailed for the tribe and trust. On our mission now, your time is up. Took us 400 years, had to size you up. Our word is born, no more dividing us. We now know what to do with all these tribes and trusts. I'm overseas with these tribes and trusts. Don't need no other keys but these tribes and trusts. Frequency sovereignty with these tribes and trusts. Watch me get families free with these tribes and trusts. Tribing up, we 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 tribing up with these tribes and trusts. We tribing up, 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 we tribing up with these tribes and trusts. We tribing up, put the tribe in the trust, manifesting this wealth with the tribe and trust. Resurrecting myself with these tribes and trusts. Ancestors left us these tribes and trusts. The people is wising up, free all the guys from cuffs. Tribes and trusts, rising up with tribes and trusts.
You heard the Mansa. Tribe up and take care of your own affairs in life. Your life depends on it. Your future depends on it. Your family depends on it. Establish your family tribes and trusts with Kyle Mansa, founder of Love Nation American Indians. If you need advanced or rush services, schedule a consultation.
Okay. We are live. Tribes and Trusts. You deserve freedom and wealth. That's what we're talking about right now today. You deserve freedom and wealth. Now, since I've been young, I'm looking at the world. I'm seeing people go through things, situations, from myself, family members, loved ones. And, at a young age, my whole goal is to put the pieces of the puzzle together. I'm like, man, it's too much poverty. It's too much bullshit. It's too many great people not able to express themselves and experience they greatness, not able to travel the world or even take care of their family by the way that they see fit. You feel me? And what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? Why is this like this? That was the question that I had to myself, to the Most High. And I can honestly say, I'm 39 now. Since I was consciously like 18, 19, maybe even 16-ish around. I was in this, I started hustling around 16, a little late, 16 to 19. But I'd say definitely 19, 20-ish. Once I started getting about 20, I decided to find the solutions to this situation. Find a solution as to what the fuck is going on with the money. What's going on with families? What's going on with the system? Why the fuck is the situation like this? Why did my family have to go through what it went through? Why is people I'm watching going through what they going through? And it's a lot of shit. We ain't got to get into all the shit. I'm sure you can just imagine all the shit that you going through, your families went through, and other families that you witness have been going through. So through my years of research, and actually actively working with people, I always seen that people got the solutions in them. I listen to people. I'm watching what people are willing to do, their capabilities, their wishes, and their dreams. And I literally see, okay, your dream, what you here for, y'all got the solutions, or we got the solutions. Collectively, we got the solutions. But then when it comes to operating these solutions and putting these solutions into play, we get to see, you open your eyes, you see people building skyscrapers, communities. You see all these different major companies and corporations with these resources. Then it gets to being about resources. You're like, okay, we want to do X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at our communities. You see in dilapidated property or just shit that you see you could change. Like, man, these properties empty. We could go and grab these and turn them into something for the people. You feel me? A, you know what I'm saying? B, we can educate the youth. We could do this. We could do this. All these solutions and stuff was prevalent. There was a whole bunch of solutions all over the world and from everybody. Yet, how do you implement these solutions? And what was preventing people from implementing these solutions that they even have in their mind? Well, I can tell you right now, I'm watching a lot of even people that I look up to, and I've looked up to, say on these YouTube streets or in real life, who come up with solutions for tribes or things of this nature. I see them box themselves into a corner and then try to go get some federal recognition or to get trustee services from another government, and not to speedball, but what I've seen is if you not established as a society and you don't have your own rules and regulations and people that's assisting you to uphold the rules and regulations of that society, then you got an issue. First off, you're part of a society. You're playing a role in a society that doesn't really have you in mind. You're not their primary reason for existence. If you are part of a society where you can't actively participate in the governance, actively participate in the rulemaking, actively play a role in assisting and providing value, because I had a lot of value from the beginning. I seen a lot of people that I love, they got a lot of value from the beginning of me experiencing them. And then it's like, okay, we got solutions and capabilities to positively influence whatever society, whatever group we rocking with. Yet, growing up, they have this idea that we're part of the United States of America. And that was an idea. It's an idea. As I do research, I realize I might not be part of the United States of America, even living in America. Doing research on naturalization, doing research on citizenship, doing research on, the history of Aboriginal nations, the history of the wars, the history of doctrine and discovery. I began to see, man, hold on, wait a minute. They let it clearly be known that they done overtaken a whole bunch of people, property and land that looked like me, that looked like my peoples. I'm asking my peoples, hey, who are we? We got any tribal ancestry? We hearing a little bit here and there. Grandma say this. We got pictures of this. Yeah, we got some native in our blood and all of this. Yet the depthness of research didn't satisfy me. And then also I'm looking at how we live in. I appreciate my mother for, raising me up in the truth that she saw fit. You feel me? She's a Jehovah's Witness. I don't see nothing wrong with anyone's pursuit of religion or pursuit of spirituality. Now, when it gets to a point of enforcing and making others, experience your way of life, like the crusades and shit like that, that's some bullshit, right? When you force people, you force another nation to live the way your nation sees fit. That's called Eurocentric perspective. That's a ethnocentric perspective. That ethnocentric perspective is like, hey, you got to live like us. This is how we see the world living. You got to live like this. Get down or lay down, pretty much. Get down or lay down was the words from the Pope. From the doctrine of discovery came down to manifest destiny in America and throughout the Americas. Now we got people waking up and they living in these societies with these statues and shit. And people waking up these days, seeing solutions. You feel me? Researching solutions, finding solutions. And what type of solutions are we looking for? And for what is the goal? Well, the goal is peace. The goal is to live in peace with your family, with your people that you see fit, and to be able to travel the world and experience and express yourself, experience different cultures as you see fit, right? This whole idea of living. That people just want to live, right? And it was interesting and fucked up is how groups of people have hijacked words, what the word people mean, what the word family mean, what the word tribe means, you feel me? And made what the word kingdom means. And they hijack these words and put them into their ethnocentric, perspective, validated, that these other beings are slaves and lower class people by their eugenics and their doctrines that they put inside their societies, right? Their societies, their groups. And that's what we're talking about, right? You deserve freedom and wealth. And right now you may be part of a system. You may be implicitly given power to a system that doesn't have your best interest in mind, that's not operating in your best interest. And even according to national laws, international laws, or whatever, anytime any group or organization puts themselves in fiduciary capacity or capacity to handle things on your behalf, or trust capacity, they supposed to be operating with your best interest in mind. Meaning these people got authority. These people got, you feel me, these folks in these systems, we have allowed them to be authority figures over ourselves, over our family, over our children, yet they don't have our best interests in mind. Time out for that bullshit. It's a wrap for that bullshit. It's over for that bullshit. That's past, Jack. And in the future, we're going to learn from the past, and we ain't moving like that in the future. See, we went through a whole bunch of different types of social experiments and social compact experiments. For whatever reason, I would say the reason is to see what's the best way to move down here. What's the best way to move in this 3D world? And I perceive I have a solution that's rarely talked about. And the solution is respecting the law of nations, respecting people's rights to organize and experience themselves however they see fit, with the groups of people that agree to live like they agree to live. Like, even if I don't agree to live the way you want to live, you got a group of people that want to live that way, then y'all can go ahead, damn sure live that way wherever the fuck y'all gonna be at. You see what I'm saying? Wherever the fuck y'all gonna be at. Y'all ain't gotta force that shit upon me. I'm here to say that there's enough land, air, water, sea, lower earth orbit locations, and space locations under the earth, above the earth, however you want to look at it. There's enough locations for groups of people to live how they see fit with the groups of people that want to live like that with them. That's called life. That's called multiple societies. That's called multiculturalism. You see what I'm saying? And through a lot of research, you feel me, we realizing a lot of things. We're realizing that this segmentation of people and the organizing of people based on color is a new way of looking at things. That's a new way of looking at things that isn't, you know, I don't know if it was approved by the Most High of all. I don't know if that was approved by the Most High of all. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a modern way of organizing people, and we dealing with those laws. Now, if you choose to live on a customary set of laws, customary means the way that your customs are, your people choose to live, and they've been choosing to live a while ago. You got the right to live that, to adopt ancient ways. You got the right to incorporate ancient laws. You got the right to incorporate traditions and customs into your way of living. But that means you have to take the responsibility to set up your way of living with people that agree to live your way of living. Okay? Right now, they got people caught up in businesses, starting businesses and entrepreneurships. They're doing a lot of shit like that. Yet the people that you engage in with these businesses with, they may not have your way of life in mind. And that's something that took me too long damn near to realize. Too long to realize what's going on now in my life. So we organize in Love Nation, right? Love Nation. You go to lovenationamericanindians.org. Organize in Love Nation, what that is, that's an epitome of each and every solution that I've ever seen for society put under one roof, right? In the form of a nation, which is a nation of tribes and 4 tribes. So as a nation, meaning a group of people who have set up a social compact, a way that they choose to live, have their rules, their regulations, their systems. That's a social compact. That's a nation. It's just a group of people who choose to live a specific way and are going to hold themselves accountable to those rules and regulations. Also, a nation, in order for it to not be dependent, meaning to not be the child of another nation, to not be a little bitch, basically, to not have to follow the rules and regulations of another nation, you see what I'm saying? Then you have to be self-sustainable, meaning you have to make sure that you have enough rules, regulations set in place to handle all the situations you're going to face. And it's not many situations that you're going to face. Humanity already got it mapped out. We already then lived a long enough time to realize what type of situations we're going to be facing in this earth. What situations? We got food, water, shelter, clothing, housing, security. We got security. We got economic situations. We got education situations, science situations, health and wellness situations, travel situations. You know, it ain't too many situations. Fun, leisure activity. It ain't too many situations going on down here. Spiritual realities. You feel me? Research, development, meditation. You see what I'm saying? It ain't too many situations going on down this motherfucker. So when you as a organization or a group of people choose to say, okay, we're going to operate our spirituality like this, or we're going to let people operate however they choose to, as long as they're not infringing upon other people's rights or whatever rules you see fit for the way you choose to live your spiritual life and express your religious rights, right? Religion meaning the way of life, the way that you actually live. That's what religion is. Religion, the definition, a definition is your way of life, the actual things that you use to live life, your habits, collectively your culture. So they've taken a lot of these words like religion, used them bad, did them dirty, drug them through the mud, and made people feel like that's some bad shit. Took words like tribe, kingdom. If you look at What Is Family video, you'll see they put all these words under taxonomy system, a zoology system, treating motherfuckers like animals, literally, because in their rules, in their social society, who is they? We talking about terroristic colonializing forces that feel as if they got the God-given power to be the God over other people who perceive that they got their own gods. Like, I'm going to force my God upon you, force my way of living upon you. Matter of fact, I'm your God. You feel me? I probably fucking came up with the word God. These motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? So they have this whole perspective, and as long as they could, you could through express contracts or implicit ways of living, meaning you enter contracts with these motherfuckers, literal physical contracts with these motherfuckers, documented contracts that says that they have these certain powers and you are inferior. Now you got to play that out. You got to play that out either until that contract end or until you rescind the contract. You're like, fuck it, I ain't operating in that type of contract no more. I set up my own type of contract, our own social compacts. So you got to have a social compact where you addressing the situations in life. We're going to talk about the Law of Nations and International Banking Handbook, because at the end and the beginning of the day, there's about three key areas of this life, 3 key areas that you got to address in your social compact, 3 key motherfucking areas that you got to address in your personal life. Spirituality. That's how you're going to deal with all this energy. How you dealing with the cosmos? How are you going to be interacting with the Most High in its many emanations? You feel me? What's your way of engaging with, co-creating with, operating with the Most High? Spirituality. Bow. You got to set something up for that. You don't set something up for that, no rules and regulations. If you haven't set up no rules and regulations for your way of spiritual life, if you haven't adopted, you actually look at different rules and regulations, say, I'm going to accept this. This is my way of living spiritually. If you ever did that, trust and believe, you are at the bottom of the list of authority in somebody else's system. It don't matter how powerful you are. It don't matter all the knowledge you got, the wisdom you got. It don't matter none of that. Because in this realm, 3D realm, the condensed energy of all things, you got to express yourself. You have to express yourself, agree to be some very specific thing. If not, trust and believe, they got you listed and labeled as something in their system, providing slush energy to their system. You part of their slush fund. For those who know, you part of them being slush funds. They just eating your energy up, soaking your energy up and utilizing it for their principles, for their system. So what are we talking about? In your society, you must have a spiritual way, some way of identifying how you're going to spiritually deal with this shit. In yourself, that's the kingdom. Your true kingdom is within you. So how am I going to operate spiritually? Okay. And then as I'm operating with other beings, what rules and regulations I'm going to choose to agree with? Because at the end of the day, in the beginning of the day, you are your own, what they would call God. You are your own sovereign. You are operating the decisions and the willpower here. Yet, who are you? You are a collection of a whole bunch of energies, a whole bunch of frequencies, all of the powers of the Most High. So we ain't gonna get too deep into that. Just know you got the right to choose what you choose to choose. And then you got the right to choose how you're gonna relate to other people. And when you say, okay, this is a spiritual system, or this is my rules and regulations for religion and for spirituality, this is how I'm willing to engage with other beings. Now, all the beings that say, okay, they willing to engage with you like that, then they part of your social compact spiritually. They agree with that. Now, for everybody who don't, they're called foreigners. They're foreign to your spiritual group. They're foreigners. All right. People who agree they domestic. Now you got that one area, spirituality. And you got two more very important areas of life in this 3D realm that you must comprehend, perceive, take some authority, accept some authority to make key decisions in these areas. Two other areas. Let's start one. Society. So you got your spiritual way of living. Now society. What is our social construct? Meaning, how are we going to engage with each other? What rules and regulations are we following in this motherfucking lifetime or in this blessed life? However you want to look at it. All right. How are we going to live right now? Remember, you got foreigners and domestic. Domestic are the people that's within your group that are cheap, that or you rocking with their group and y'all agreeing on some shit. Y'all agreeing on these rules. Now, people who haven't agreed with you, they're called foreigners. People who haven't agreed to live in accordance with your rules and regulations are called foreigners. We talk about the law of nations. The law of nations allows any group of people to establish a nation. That's a group of people who have rules and regulations for how they're going to live. They got regulations. They're going to enforce them themselves. They accept the responsibility to enforce those regulations. They accept the responsibility of having the systems necessary to live efficiently. That's a society, right? So that's a nation. Boom. So now in this society, you have to think about the rules and regulations for education, for households. How are we going to operate? What's the rules within a household? What is a household? Sexuality. What type of sexuality are we accepting and not accepting in this society? What type of households are we building? What type of foods are we eating? What type of business or commerce are we engaging in internationally? Like what products and services are we exchanging with other groups that's foreign to us? These foreign entities, they may got some products or services that we may not necessarily choose to produce. We want to exchange. Now, how are we exchanging? It comes to the third aspect. But let's stick on the second aspect, which is society. You accepting, either looking at life. So you look at life, look throughout life, all the different rules of life. Different societies have constitutions. Some societies before them just got customary law. You got customary law, which is the customs. You got cosmic law. Cosmic law is real for those who choose to acknowledge it. And that's all the elemental forces and how they operating, right? So you and your society, y'all might say, okay, we adopting these cosmic principles. We're going to accept these customary principles from our ancestors. We've seen our ancestors was living like this. We rocks with this type of way. We rocks with this way. Then you might say, hey, since it is another day, a new reality, we also going to upgrade that. We seen that they had that system, but they fell victim because of this, and that. So let's upgrade that system so it can have these precautions in our new system. You see what I'm saying? You got the right to establish a system for yourself. That's the point of society. You got the right to play an active role to participate in what type of governance system you're going to have. And if you part of a governance system and you part of a city, state, nation, town, whatever they want to call themselves, and your word, yo, call it a vote, your word, your vote cannot positively influence that society, then maybe you're a slave in that society. Maybe you are a slave in that society. You just got to read the fine print to find the fuck out. Because if you living in a place or a society and you can't say, hey, hold on. I don't agree with this. I agree with that. I'm going to adopt this way of life. And what do you guys think about this? And they don't actually, hey, Teddy doesn't agree with this way of life. Hey, you guys, what are we going to do about this? How are we going to quote? Do we respect this? We respect him. So let's see what we do for him and his peoples, or her and her peoples. If they not considering your shit like that real quick off top, then you're a slave. Whether you're a slave. If they say, hey, submit that paperwork to your representative that's supposed to represent you, and then when your representative comes to us, we'll see what we're going to do about this. 400 years later, niggas ain't did shit for you. They ain't did shit for you. 400, 600, 800 years later, they still telling you, go holler at your representative. Matter of fact, maybe you need to vote for a different representative. Maybe they're not representing you right. Fucking representing me, right? I'm me. I don't need a represent. I don't need to be represented. No clones necessary, right? So if you perceive that your voice, your powers are worth something, and you supposed to, you know what I'm saying, have some influence and some effects happening around this mug, you are the cause of some effects, then maybe you need to operate according to your own society rules and regulations. Maybe you need to operate that way. What I see a nice future. I see a beautiful future. You see, I see a world where as this knowledge of tribes and trust start coming out, and we already going to see that there's a lot of nations moving, but there's a lot of companies that got more power than nations. It's a lot of companies and organizations, trusts, unincorporated associations, real incorporated associations. It's a lot of companies that got more power than nations right now. Because at the end of the day, a company is a nation. What is a nation? A group of people coming together and having some rules and regulations to handle themselves accordingly, holding themselves accountable. There are self-regulated organizations. There's self-sustainable organizations. It doesn't matter what you call yourself. That's my point. It don't matter what you call yourself. A corporation, an association, a trust. It don't matter. A tribe, a nation. It don't matter. What matters is, are you properly creating and regulating the activities that occur? Do you have a say-so? Are you making sure it goes the way they say so? Now, third thing, because the second thing was society. That's something that's necessary. First thing is key, the spiritual system. Spiritual systems are important. Social systems is important. And typically the social systems stem from the spiritual system. Yeah, your way of life, your way of living, the rules and regulations cosmically that you and your people perceive, you got to start there. You got to start there. A lot of shit is fucked up because motherfuckers ain't starting with the spirituality. Motherfuckers just want to get straight to living a certain way or straight to having certain benefits, but they ain't even checking the code, the spiritual codes. Fuck going on around here. Now you got people doing a whole bunch of bullshit, and a whole bunch of us have experienced a whole bunch of bullshit, and a whole bunch of our children are experiencing bullshit. Friends, families, cousins, and neighbors, and associates, and people that we don't know experiencing a lot of bullshit, a lot of rapes, a lot of unjust activities, a lot of thefts, a lot of physical violence, emotional violence, a whole bunch of bullshit. Because ain't nobody checking the spiritual laws. They act like that shit don't gotta be enforced. Well, there is no society without a spirituality. Period. And if you a society and believe you is a real society, you ain't got no spirituality, trust me, you being controlled, and you are just a slave of some group that has their spiritual shit on point. They got a system. So your spiritual system more than likely is going to influence the rules and regulations that you adopt and create in your social society. Now, what's the third aspect? Money, 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 money. Money. Everybody needs some money. Everybody talking about money. At the end of the day, the Pope got a bank. The Pope of Vatican got a bank. You see what I'm saying? The tribes got casinos throughout America. You see what I'm saying? The nations got treasuries. You feel what I'm saying? And you can have a society and have some rules and regulations in which to do some things. And when it comes down to getting people to do some things, people gonna start asking about the money. Where the money, money, money. So your third system is your banking system, your financing system. People and the companies got to think about this. Families got to think about this. All societies got to think about this. Now, the degree to which you accept responsibility is your degree of sovereignty. Let's just talk about this. A lot of motherfuckers talk about, I'm sovereign. I want to be sovereign. I'm sovereign. What's the sovereign? Can I get the loyal title and all of this shit? Man, have you accepted the responsibility? Because rights come from responsibilities. Authorities come from duties. So you got a duty, then you get some authority. You accept the responsibility, now you get some rights. Okay? The rights and authority that you get without accepting responsibility and duty, you should question that shit. You should question, is that really a right, or are you being led left? Straight down the path of somebody else's reality being built. And you just energy, providing slush. Your energy is slush that they eat up and utilize for the development of their dreams. Now, spirituality system, social system, banking system. Look, they say it's 2024. When I started looking at, okay, societies, we got to get into societies, build our own societies. I started researching and looking at people who's done it, people who's doing it. And you got a lot of people right now throughout America, man. Look, you got registered and unregulated tribes everywhere. I was going to pull up screen, start looking at shit. But sometimes, man, that shit, that just take away from the reality. The reality is this. It's unregulated tribes and regulated tribes all throughout America. There is federally recognized tribes and unrecognized tribes. There's unincorporated associations. Those are people that's not regulated. Ain't no government regulating their way of action. If you read most constitutions, including I've read the Constitution of Brazil and saw associations can't be regulated from the federal government. Now, how is that being upheld? We're gonna get into some shit here. Because you got rights, you got responsibility, you got the law, and then you got force. We're gonna get to that fourth, that elephant in the room, which is the fourth aspect, the fourth pillar, which is force. But let's talk about the third pillar, banking systems. When you think about wealth, and you think about money, and you think about cash, and you think about gold, and you think about silver right now, more than likely, you think it's some shit you gotta work for, right? You gotta work for this money, gotta get this shit. You got to pay some people to get some shit. But at the end and the beginning of the day, as you do some research about the money system, the monetary system, and if you want to do some extra research, just go check out what is a trust. I think we dropped what is a trust already. Dropping 16 videos, Tribes and Trust 101. I don't know where we at by the time you watch this. They all might be done, but at the time of recording, got 2 of them done. I'm going to drop 4 of them today because I'm behind the schedule I set, yet right on divine timing. So at the end of the day, what is we talking about here? We're talking about financial system. So you may perceive that money is something you got to work for because you're thinking about money of exchange. You got, a lot of people, they're brand washed with the money. Brand washed. They got you brand washed with the money. What that means is you perceive that the bills, the dollar bill or the note or the promissory note or the bill of exchange or the coupon or the receipt, whatever name that thing has, that's all money, by the way, y'all. Those are all monetary instruments. We're going to find out, y'all check out financial institutions for families. What is a family trust? What is a family trust? We're going to get into all that. Yeah, these are all different type of monetary instruments, right? And all of these different monetary instruments, these things can get drafted up with paper and a pen. Paper and a pen. They allow digital dollars now, and that's all typing, literally. But what are you typing? And what's on the paper and the pen? What does it represent? People say money ain't nothing. Money is something. It's you understanding value, assessing some value. What is a trust? You can see that. But assessing some value, documenting the value, and then utilizing that value as a measurement of exchange to compensate people. And this whole system is amazing. You get to respect the cosmic law of you get what you receive. You get what you put out. That's what the money system allows for. And the money system allows for all beings to issue promissory notes, bills of exchanges. That promissory note is money in this day. It's a promise to pay. Then a money order is an order to pay. So you just, I promise to pay you. Okay, I order you to pay that person for me. That's a money order. Now, what is payment? Payment in this world, in this system, y'all, is anytime you present value to someone. Presentation means to extend it, to transfer, to give it to them. What's value? Value is anything that you perceive is value. It could be a commodity. It could be an item. It could be a financial asset, right? So if somebody say they because in this monetary system, this international monetary system, most of these clearing houses, and we're going to get into that, most of these clearing houses, settlement agencies, and international financial institutions do not specify, they don't have a brand of promissory note that they need to accept or a brand of bill of exchange, which means when I say brand, it's like a company name. So for instance, you got the Federal Reserve notes. That's the Federal Reserve promissory notes. The brand is the Federal Reserve. So when I say people are brand washed, they perceive that only the Federal Reserve notes are money, or they perceive only the United States notes are money. And they ain't even really dealing with United States notes no more, but that's something real. We'll get into that. You got to look at the Coinage Act of 1792 or something like that. We'll get into that. What a United States note is. Nevertheless, these countries got notes. Brazil got reals, R-E-A-L-S, reals. Different countries, francos, you got euros, These are all promises to pay from a brand, from a company, from an organization. Shit, you could have your promise to pay, right? Mike promissory note, Susan promissory note, Bill promissory note, Jaquan promissory note, Keon promissory note, Jan promissory note. That shit is real. That shit is legal. Trisha promissory note, Bert promissory note, Poop promissory note, Mickey promissory note. Yeah, that's worth whatever you write on that thing. Now, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that in the banking system, financial system, the current system is a system that respects value. You have to document value, and that could be any form of assets. Document the asset, and then you utilize the value in that asset. You transfer the value of that asset anytime you want to receive a product or a service from someone. So I want to receive some boats. I want to travel on this person's plane, or I want to get some eggs, some water. Well, I don't eat eggs, but you know, I ain't into that animal eating shit no more. Nevertheless, it's like and I gotta work on the breads. So shit, I be feeling bad eating the breads because I'm like, damn, they got the eggs in the bread. So I'm basically like in the skies, still chopping down on the chicken. I ain't with that shit. You feel me? But what am I really trying to say here? These financial systems and systems where they get to choose basically if they're going to accept your money or not, right? So you have different financial systems. You got the Federal Reserve System, you got SWIFT system, you got ACH network, different networks, and they get to choose if they're going to accept your promissory note in their system. You got private investment banking systems. They get to choose, are they going to accept your promissory note? And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people, the masses who need to understand what these monetary instruments are, who need to understand that they can create their own monetary instruments. And then we're dealing with people who must understand that this is just basic accounting. We're accounting for value. Once people understand that, and if you got you a tribe or an unincorporated association, you choose to set up you a financial system, a banking system, that's you saying, okay, we're going to accept the responsibility for documenting the value of people and persons and assets, and exchanging and transferring that value for products and services. Now, we are living in a world, in a society, where these different agencies and institutions got the right to say if they're going to accept or not accept your money. Now, when they accept it or don't accept it, when they don't accept it, that's something that's internationally may be illegal. But domestically, if you don't uphold the laws and you feel me, go to get yours, what's due to you, you might just be living under that system, an illegal system where they're not respecting your value and you ain't doing shit about it. So the third aspect of a tribe, of a nation, of this sovereignty shit is setting up a financial system, a monetary system, where you're gonna document what are the different monetary instruments that you accept. What's your method of accounting for these monetary systems? What systems are you going to utilize to account for those monetary systems domestically within your group? And then what are the international systems that you're going to utilize in order to exchange and transfer your monetary value in different countries? If the countries allow you, if the countries don't allow you, because it's up to them. I mean, look at what's going on with BRICS. You got Brazil, Russia, India, China, Saudi Arabia, and a whole bunch of other countries coming together saying, hey, our financial assets, our monetary instruments, we want to make sure that we set up our own system to exchange them with each other, because we were utilizing the system of SWIFT, and we were utilizing that system, and that system is preventing some of us from using it based upon political grievances. So they taking their political grievances or their social issues, and they say, hey, we're going to cause a negative effect on these other countries that we don't agree with their political stances and the political actions they take. So we're going to influence their banking system. We're going to fuck up their banking ability to transfer these certain negotiable instruments in the system that we control, because they control that Euro system, they control that SWIFT system, they control that ACH system, and you can control your system. That's the whole point, because it's just basic laws of accounting, monetary instruments, and how you operate. So to wrap this up, we're going to give you an introduction, a real brief introduction to the Law of Nations, and we're going to do the Oxford Handbook of Banking. You got the law of nation is a compiled body of work, right? That all about the law of nature and how it is incorporated in the law of nations. Because what I'm here to tell you is every superior set of law is respected by the inferior set of laws. So you got cosmic law, which is respected by natural law, which is respected by international law, which is respected by national law. And then under national law, you got all these different statutes and rules and policies and procedures that still respect national law, which respects international law, which respects, you know what I'm saying, natural law, which respects cosmic law. So whichever law system you find yourself agreeing with and operating in, you may not be able to fully experience the freedoms and the blessings due to the role and the responsibility that you accepted in the society, or the role that your parents or your family or the people that you rocking with, they accepted an inferior role with less responsibilities and less sovereignty. You have to accept certain responsibilities to be sovereign. Sovereign doesn't mean that you don't have no rules you're not held accountable to. It simply means that you acknowledge the rules, you set the rules, and you enforcing the rules. All right, that's what that means. So let's take a little quick glimpse of and give y'all an introduction to the law of nations and the handbook of banking, right? So the law of nations. So this here is a PDF, and y'all can click in the description. I put a description in the description. I put a link to the law of nations, man. This book is about 567 pages, right? It'll conduct and affairs of nations and sovereigns, right? And I recommend this to a lot of people because a lot of people looking to operate tribes, or they got a tribe, or they doing a tribe business. Yeah, remember the hierarchy of laws. A lot of people was just going based on their nation laws, like the nation that they find themselves implicitly being subservient to. They wake up and they're like, oh, I'm under this nation. The family said we under this certain nation, so that's our nation, that's our ruler. And then even when they seeking freedom, they looking at the rules of that nation. And inside of that nation, they may say that, hey, even when you're seeking freedom, you're not sovereign. For instance, in the United States of America, they state the right of self-determination as expressed through the Aboriginal tribes and the Indian tribes. When they seek the right of self-determination, it doesn't say they can only be, but it's all the propaganda and all the structure is leading them down towards a path of federal recognition. And when they get that federal recognition, they say you are a dependent nation. They say, hey, we're not going to pave your road to self-determination, to independent self-determination, but we're going to show you your road to dependency. And with dependency, that United States of America or that government still gets to tell you what you can or can't do in certain situations. What they is and what they ain't going to do. They get to tell you that they took all this shit from you, and they're going to tell you how much they're going to give you or not going to give you. See, that comes down to the fourth reality, which is acknowledged in the law of nations, and that's the law of force. The law of force, the law that you got the right to do whatever you need to do for the benefit of your people. And it doesn't always have to be military might, physical force. You can utilize the intellect. You can mix it up with physical force. You just got to realize that all of this is yours to utilize as a people to express your divine will to be. So in the law of nations, it's going to identify some principles of nature, right? Monsieur de Vatel, I believe he initially wrote this in like 1750s or something, yet they made a newer versions in like 1792, I believe, and then you feel me, they evidently saying that this is an 1844 published version. Nevertheless, let's just look at some of the, I ain't gonna read the prefix, y'all can do all that yourselves. I may or may not actually read this from the beginning to the end or get some type of autobot, or just give y'all a link if I find somebody on YouTube who've already read the whole thing. Y'all can check that out. You don't need to double work, man. We here to do some unique shit, which is make sure that people are living the life that they want to live. Make sure that people know how to respect the rights of other people. Make sure people know how to establish their nations and how to live in accordance with their rules and regulations with peace and prosperity by efficiently utilizing the law of nations and efficiently utilizing the principles of nature and the cosmic laws and efficiently, utilizing these international banking laws and the law of credit and value for the benefit of themselves and their people. That's the goal, basically, to live free, to be free, and to accept the responsibilities that come along with freedom, and to manage the resources of this world a lot better. You feel me? So that this preface is long as fuck. Was long. Let's just give y'all a brief overview of looking at the contents. And this is literally just me in an attempt to just say, okay, y'all, I'm just going to go over what's in this. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but this should pique your interest if you're a person who cares about freedom, who cares about sovereignty, who cares about what's going on in the world, how did it come to be, and how could it become something different, who see yourself as a person that's part of participating in the creation of a new world, a new paradigm for yourself and the people that you love. So let's check this out, right? Preliminaries, content, idea and general principles of law and nations. It gets into that. What is meant by a nation or a state? It is a moral person. Definition of a law of nations. That's a very important section. It's breaking it down. What is a nation? What are the laws of nation, right? Book 1, chapter 1. Of nations considered in themselves, of nations or sovereign states, right? So this is going to talk about the sovereign state, the nation, how it is considered in and of itself. What's the state? What is sovereignty itself? What type of authority is included? What are different types of governments? What are sovereign states? Things like that, right? Alliances that could be made, what's treaties and how you operate with treaties, states forming federal or republic states, objects to the treaties and things of this nature, right? Chapter 2, general principles of the duties of a nation towards herself. So what does a nation have to do for itself, to uphold itself, to maintain itself, its status, to ensure that it is what it needs to be? What does a nation have to do? And when you talk about nation, you could exchange the word nation with tribe. You could exchange the word nation with family, man. That's the point. That's the whole point. Your family, the people that you living with, the people that you sitting around should be conscious of these things. It's time they say, wake up, wake the fuck up, do something about it, accept responsibility. The children can learn this. If you perceive that this is some deep concepts and some hard to grasp concepts, then that's what it's going to be. But it ain't. This is basically you living your life, coming up with the rules and regulations, or accepting the rules and regulations, or pronouncing the fact that you are still upholding certain ancient rules and regulations. Regardless of how you choose to live, there's some general principles of the duties of nations towards herself, right? Chapter 3 goes into the constitution of a state, the duties and rights of a nation in that respect. Chapter 4 of a sovereign, his obligations and his rights. Chapter 5 of state elective, successive, or hereditary, and of those called patrimonial, right? Whether elective kings be real sovereigns or not, right? And that's something deep, because elective kings, I'm here to tell you, they ain't sovereigns. And there's a whole bunch of republics that have been created to really overthrow the kings. When I say kings, a whole bunch of kings, elected kings, to overthrow the monarch, and that's based upon the transference of powers historically, right? Like, to get all this how it is now, where you got a whole bunch of just, let's just call them rogue nations, rogue states running around against the will of the people. They had to overtake the will of the people and the governments of the people. And the people, before they were labeled slaves, were consisting of a bunch of royal households, royal families. I'm not saying everybody was royal. I'm not saying everybody wasn't. I'm simply saying it is what it is. You had royal families, royal monarchs, and to this day, you still can have and can express your way, your your life in such a way. And then came the destruction of the kingdoms with fake kingdoms, with king-elected republicans. Then you got the destruction of that with these current republics that's just slave vessels to the monarch. We ain't gonna get too deep into that. You can find out yourself. But at the end of the day, if you want to operate how you choose to operate with the people you choose to operate, you're gonna have to utilize these laws of nature, which stem from the laws of the cosmic laws, which come down to the law of nations. You're gonna have to utilize these laws for the benefit of you and your people. Basically, you got to handle your business. You got to handle all aspects of business and take responsibility for every aspect of business when it comes to family business. Principal objects of a good government, and first, to provide for the necessities of the nation, right? So they're talking about, hey, what does a good government do? The utmost important responsibility is to provide for the necessities of the nation. Everything the nation needs, that's what the government needs to be making sure it's doing, providing for the subsistence of the nation. You feel me? Chapter 7 of the cultivation of the soil. Look at they got utility of agriculture being the number one aspect of business for the nation. Let's stop playing. That's why to this day, a lot of subjects who haven't acknowledged and expressed their age of majority, who haven't expressed their right to rule themselves and govern themselves, who haven't expressed and experienced that right in action, they labeled what? Property of the framers or the farmers. Who are the framers of the Constitution or the farmers? Replace the A with the R, switch that around, because they were farmers. The framers of the Constitution were farmers of the land, utilizing the resources and the profits to pay the crown. So they got a lot of people listed as property. What type of property? Agricultural property, chattel property. And they were utilizing that to create mortgages. And it's the same system to this day. Different words, same systems in these republic systems, the Commonwealth countries, utilizing people as property and collateral for loans all over the world. Through the guise of agriculture, which is the number one aspect of business, even when you're looking at the law of nations, right? Chapter 8 gets into commerce, domestic and foreign trade, utility of domestic trade, utility of foreign trade. How and why do you need these things? How you go about that? Chapter 9 of the care of the public ways and the tolls. So they're talking about public ways, tolls, roads. These are different aspects of a nation. Now, of course, they're talking about a state, because a nation is a group of people that choose to operate a certain way, but then a state is a group of people that have rules and regulations for how they're going to operate, and they oversee a territory, physical territory. So now you got to start thinking about this stuff, public ways, tolls, right? And as we stated, there was a third aspect, and they talk about it here in chapter 10 of money and exchange, establishment of money, the duty of nation or prince with respect to the coins, the rights in their respect, how one nation may injure another in the article of a coin. Exchange and the commercial laws of exchange. Y'all, we're dealing with international exchange. We talk about money. And your money could be called whatever the fuck your money called. My money called whatever it's called. Your system of creating money could be whatever it is. My system of creating money is whatever it is. Yet, if we want to engage in some international trade, then we're going to respect what? The international law of exchange. International law that says, hey, the value that you have is the value that it is. The value that I have is the value. We can exchange this with each other to ensure that commerce, trade of products and services can flow amongst our nations. You don't have to be brand washed when it comes to promissory notes, bill of exchange. And if you are brand washed, won't you be brand washed with your brand, your name, promissory note, Bill promissory note, Jane promissory note, John promissory note, Mike promissory note, Jacob promissory note. That shit sound real good to me. Because at the end and the beginning of the day, even when you think about national systems, y'all, they respect your private promissory notes. And your private promissory notes can play a role in those national systems. The more people understand this and are willing to operate in their own independent systems, the more that the state systems are going to leave room for that to engage in their systems. Because at the end of the day, it's all about international commerce, international operations, right? When you're talking about the law of nations. So 10's going into what? Second object of good government, to procure the true happiness of a nation. So to procure the true happiness. So they say an aspect of what government needs to do is make sure that the nation can be happy. You feel me? That the nation can be happy. There's a nation that has a whole happy index. Bahrain or something. My man brought that up to me. The chief priest of Love Nation. Matter of fact, let me show you how the chief priest, what he got going on right now. People ain't playing these days. Chief priest, a little moment.
Go.
Peace, peace. Yeah, so I'm here in Costa Rica, Cayutique, living my best life, the trust life. Shout out to you, Kyle. Thank you. It's amazing. Yeah, just cop some land and about to throw it in the trust. You know how it is. Thanks again, Kyle. Love Nation, Indigenous. Talking to you from the unconquerable Cayutique, Costa Rica. Yeah, one.
Yeah, so that's Chief Priest Rory Bennett. He out there on the land in Costa Rica with the Odom dynasty, Odom's empire. Antonio, they in Costa Rica living it up. They overstaying they rights, their responsibilities, and moving forward. And why did I show that? Because at the end and the beginning of the day, if we're not moving on these laws, if we're not utilizing these laws, then it don't mean nothing to us. It don't mean nothing to our people, and it don't mean nothing for us. Yet this whole land mass is accessible for all of us. So look, the law of nations, right? Happiness, true happiness for her people is a responsibility of government. And that brother that I just showed you, he the one who brought up to me this fact that you got a nation out here right now in modern day times that has like a happiness index. You feel me? It's like a happiness index. It's like a national happiness index. Let me see if we can pull it up here real quick. Okay, here we go. I just found this mug, but let me pull it up for y'all. So we get 1 second here. So this country, Bhutan is really epitomizing. They the epitome of making sure that your country be happy right now. And let's show you how they moving, right? Real quick, like share screen. Bhutan, my guy, my main man in Bhutan. Let's see how my man in Bhutan is moving.
On the 9 domains.
Come on. It's a daunting climb to one of the holiest sites in Bhutan. Tiger's Nest Monastery seems to defy gravity. Every Bhutanese is expected to complete the pilgrimage to ensure peace and happiness. When it became a democracy in 2008, Bhutan put happiness at the center of all political policy, inspiring the UN to pass a resolution urging other nations to follow Bhutan's example. But how do you measure it?
For many Bhutanese, happiness is more intuitive than it is quantifiable. But ever since it became part of state policy, it's been described roughly as good governance, the balance between nature and economic growth, also between pleasure and work.
In the capital, Thimphu, is the world's only Secretariat of Happiness and a chief official who takes his job very seriously.
The GNH index is formed based on the 9 domains and close to 33 indicators. Things like health, education, living standard, environment, good governance. One is psychological well-being. The other one is community vitality, time use, and cultural diversity.
This is one way people find happiness in Bhutan, through traditional pursuits such as the national sport, archery. But the nation's happiness policy sometimes misses the mark. Youth unemployment is soaring. 24-year-old Namgay Tenzin is restless for new opportunities, but he can't find suitable work.
There's a major problem in Bhutan right now as the unemployment, because most of the youngsters, like after their completion of graduation, they couldn't find a good job.
Neighbouring India has been generous with financial support, but some think it's time to welcome Chinese investment too. Bhutan has no diplomatic links with its northern neighbour. But balancing ties between fierce regional rivals will be a challenge. It's a risky path. The happiness of the nation could depend upon it.
For me, happiness is just just what I need is a peace and like a good leadership in our country.
For me, happiness actually means spending quality times with friends and families, and visiting beautiful places and taking pictures.
So there may not be a magical, mystical, or even spiritual formula when it comes to finding happiness, but by simply turning its pursuit into policy, Bhutan has done what no other country has. Neve Barker, Al Jazeera, in the Himalayan Kingdom.
All right. So I feel the man. So there's a few things. That was just to show you an example of a nation that's taken to seriousness that situation in the law of nations, where it said the responsibility of a government is to ensure that its people are happy, right? Taking that to the maximum capacity. Now, I do see a trend in the world. I do see a trend. I see people, organizations, I believe that a lot of companies, a lot of online personalities are going to be starting tribes, are going to be starting nation states, are going to be starting these things. Once they start to see that this ain't nothing but pieces of paper and people operating out of the laws that they see fit, right? And once you start to respect your way of living, and then you learn how to respect another way of living, and y'all could still interact and exchange culture when needed, and revert back to y'all sovereign place of being. You feel me? When y'all see fit, then people gonna start to respect international culture a lot more. Cultural, experiencing culture instead of cultural appropriations. It's gonna be more like cultural excursions and people just learning each other. Now, it's interesting that they going, and that's for a whole nother video, how they say, hey, you gotta holler at China. These days, everybody gotta holler at China if they want some money. Because it's like China's infrastructure, finance system is I believe is the core of BRICS. We got to do some more research, and I will do some more research, but I perceive that China really is they're the largest country in BRICS. They building their financial system. They financing and becoming the world's most sought after lender for a lot of these countries. So I think that was a little bit of politics at the end, them talking about how Bhutan got to holler at China, but it's just bringing up some more effective realities, right? Where we're talking about the law of nations. Let's go and see what the other chapters of the law of nations is, right? Grab this law of nations, bring it back up. And this is very much so important because everybody out here talking about freedom, or a lot of people talking about, and the world is adjusting. Right now, you got a lot of people who know about offsetting debts, and people learning more about negotiable instruments and how the system should work, and how they are the issuers of a lot of these bonds, and how they got a lot of claims out that they should be able to get. You feel me? They got this realization. Yet what I'm seeing is the next level. The next level is after you realize the rights that you have within a nation, and you may start experiencing, you know, this nation respecting your rights or not respecting your rights. But you might get to the point where you say, hey, why do we keep on trying to get them to respect the value of our documents and respect the value of our promissory notes or our true value as we see fit? Why don't we just operate with each other because we respect each other value? Bow. Now you got something happening. Bow. Now you didn't put a shot up through the cosmos and say, hey, we're going to respect each other's value. We're going to establish our own, call it what you want, unincorporated association, tribe, trust, nation. All of those things could come with this set of rules, could accept these responsibilities and operate self-regulating, self-sustainable, free, aka independently. You see what I'm saying? Any one of these types of organizations, your family could do it, right? And that's what this is all about. So they talking about the government got the right and responsibility to ensure the happiness. So if you a part of a government and you say, hey, we not happy around here, are you happy? They like, no, you happy? No, man, it's stress. It's all fucked up around this bitch. Well, then the government is not on this business. The government ain't handling this business, period. Or, according to the government, you might be a slave. So when you realize that, then you got your own right. You got your responsibility. You're going to maintain your slave ship reality in that system, or you just going to rescind all contracts. You feel me? Abort the system, operate with your people as you see fit, and accept the responsibility to maintain your peace, your welfare, your food, water, shelter, clothing, housing. And you can still interact with foreign entities, foreign agencies, foreign banks, according to foreign law of banking, foreign law of commerce, foreign law. You still got some get back. You can still operate anywhere throughout the world, be in the world, but not of the world. You see what I'm saying? Accept that responsibility and you might experience a different life. That's what I'm here to say. We must accept that responsibility. And that's not a one man's game. One man can do it for one man, yet we must do it for us. Chapter 12, piety and religion. So now they're speaking about the role of the government and the nation when it comes to spirituality, religion, you know, right action, brotherly love, how you get to that point and how you get to enforcing all of that. That's part of what a nation has to do. You can read up on chapter 12 for that. Chapter 13 of justice and polity, or politics and justice. This is just laws of nation. This isn't the law that a nation has to operate under and accept. This is laws, rules, concepts, forces that all come together to make nations what they are. These are responsibilities. So you talk about a family. Again, a nation is a family, is a tribe, is you. You a nation in and of yourself. You got different bodies, different aspects of you. You got organs, you got limbs, you got head, body, arm, leg, arm, head. You see what I'm saying? You got the arm, your leg, your arm, and your head. You dig what I'm saying? Chapter 14, third object of a good government, to fortify itself against attacks. That's what we're talking about. That's the point. That's a major point. See, basically, what's going on around here, everybody realize this right now. This is what's going on around here. What's going on around here, if you're not living the way you wish to live, if you don't have, say, the freedom you wish to have, motherfuckers, people, humans, humanity, spiritual beings have been put into vessels, and through propaganda, through fear, through a whole bunch of shit, through just slow growth development or whatever the fuck is going on, people have become scared to fortify against defense, against attacks. Fortifying against attacks, accepting the responsibility to like defend yourself and those that you are with against attacks. That right there. That is, I call it the fourth pillar. That's like the greatest fourth pillar, the fourth element of this sovereignty shit. You know, again, a man can do it for himself, but we must do it for us. And a man can only be where a man is, but we can be everywhere we are. So you accepting the responsibility to defend yourself against attacks, whether that defense is legal, you do some court type shit, whether you do some spiritual shit, put out some vibes, do some rituals shit, Whether you do some emotional shit, hey, emotionally, we gonna make sure we tight. You feel me? Whether you got rules and regulations for how you're gonna make sure you can't get attacked, or if you get attacked, what you gonna do, rules and regulations for how you're gonna use your court systems to enforce your rights against people that's domestically within your tribe, within your family that's doing shit against you, or how you gonna use your rights, you feel me, against people who are not domestic, who are international, who doing shit against you. This is something that's necessary. The kids don't feel safe. The women don't feel safe. Shit, you don't feel safe a lot of times if you a man, because you like, damn, I got to have my own back. Shit, there's some things, some battles that I just not smart to fight as an individual. You see what I'm saying? You got to sit, that's when you got to overdo the spirit. Spiritual, go fight that battle for me. Because the society that I'm living in don't see fit to fight this battle with me or for me. God, what the fuck is going on? You must have a society of people that agree to defend against attack. And a lot of times the attack is from within. The attack be the doubt. Motherfuckers doubting the process. Well, they call it 2024. How many sovereign nations of beings do you see running around here operating with the people? If it ain't a lot of them, then if you choose to do it, then you got to be willing to go through the process and to realize, shit, it's going to be a process. And if you want the process to be better, shit, we got to do some recruitment around this motherfucker. Some resource recruitment, some people recruitment around this motherfucker. Get the right people and places and things in the system at the right place for it to be what it truly could be. Shit, we need defense systems. Countries even hire third parties for defense. Shit, maybe you need to hire a third party for your defense, for yourself, or for your people. Or maybe you need to have enough children that you develop and have them all in boot camp and shit. Now y'all young teenagers and now y'all adults that's defending the nation. And maybe, you know, as it goes, according to your ability and capability of enforcing your rights, defending your rights, that's your degree of sovereignty. How much sovereignty you got? How much can you defend? How much sovereignty you got? How much can you fucking enforce? Defense and enforce. Hey, because everything else can be in your mind, but it won't be aligned on time and divine in this reality in which we attempting to climb, which means we in this realm. They call it the 3D realm. We working to make as above, so below. So we got to make as below, so above too. The shit we do down here affects up there too. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, man, this is one of the biggest aspects as to why people are free or are not free. The right, the acceptance of the responsibility to defend yourself against attacks. By accepting that right, accepting that responsibility, then you're assuring that your freedoms could actually be expressed and experienced. Without the enforcement and without the ability to defend yourself against attacks, it's a fucking wrap. So you got a lot of our greatest people throughout the world and individuals who attempted to cause certain effects. Then how they defense game, they military defense game, they spiritual defense game up to par, equal to or greater than that of their enemies. And right now, that's something that we facing a lot of times. Like right now, I'm out here talking about tribes and trust and nation building. Go to Love Nation, AmericanIndians.org. Shit, I feel like on the front lines. And it's just me. A lot of people out here doing a lot of things, been doing things for years. And I'm sure that they're cognitively aware as to how much sovereignty do I really have? How much sovereignty do we really have? Well, we might have infinite sovereignty spiritually. Emotionally, I might have conquered all of that. Now we're here on the physical. And in the physical, you got to attract some more physical beings and things to link up like Brinks truck so you can defend against attacks and enforce your fucking rights. Or your cosmic rights. Call them whatever you want to call them, okay? I'm not putting it down. It's just... Sometimes you just got to ask yourself, are we going to be bitches all of our lives? Like, are we going to raise another group of bitches? And what I mean by that is another group of people that do not accept the responsibility to fortify themselves against attacks. Not saying I'm a bitch, but like at the end and the beginning of the day right now, I'm still building and developing, man. I can speak it as if it is. I can use some faith and say, hey, we're defended. We're protected. We are one with the Most High. We are protected against any and all things. we have the fortification systems physically, spiritually, and all things. I could say that, and actually, while I'm saying that, have the faith and believe it and know it that that's what we creating. At the same time, I could take a snapshot of something called reality as well, even though that is a reality as well. You know, we live in interdimensional worlds. I could take that snapshot of reality and say, dang, right now, man, if my cousin, my brother, my sister, my niece experience something, I'm in Brazil right now, say they in the United States of America, they call it, well, on the land mass that is called that, say something happened to them, I'm right here right now, man, my group of warrior niggas ain't where they at. They ain't answering the phone. My digital systems, I ain't got my drones up, my satellite systems, everybody's house is connected so I can see what the fuck is going on, and shit, sound the alarm, and some shit happen to defend them and protect them in situations. Shit, my people power gotta increase. The defense power gotta increase. And that's even in your household. How you gonna defend your household when if you get attacked from police, if you got the right to, if your people can get attacked from police officers walking in the door and shooting them, it's still in 2024, then we need some defense systems against that. Period. We need some defense systems against that. We need some defense systems against that. It's time for some defense systems against that. Defense against attack in the family, in the household. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not about saying, hey, we're going to attack this system. Man, but they got motherfuckers feeling bad about defense systems, about seeking and wishing to have defense systems. You know, calling you a terrorist if you want to start talking about having a defense system. Fuck that bullshit. How can I be a terrorist talking about wishing to have defense systems for people who deserve defense systems? That is every man, woman, and child in this universe, when there is clearly physical killings and murders coming from all types of organizations on people, from people that's they family members and hit them up, from friends and hitting them up, from fucking they go outside, a stranger going crazy, hitting them up. You got Manchurian candidates running around hitting them up. You got police officers hitting them up, military personnel hitting them up, fucking bad food hitting them up, all types of shit hitting them up. Who defending them up? Who defending them up? Who defending them up? And for those who choose to be defending them up, it's about time to wise the fuck up and realize you by yourself could only do a certain thing. You need to link up like Brinks Truck with some other people who think like you, who feel like you, so your core of development can increase, your capacity to influence can increase, your magic could work better, your miracles could work better, your medicine could work better, your wise words could work better. It's time to link up like Brinks Truck. Those who have like minds in the aspect of defense, offense, whatever the fuck is necessary to ensure that there's a more balanced situation throughout the universe. Yeah, so that's what the fuck is up when you're talking about the law of nations, right? That's just chapter 14. Chapter 14 had me going through some things. That's the principle and the obligation of a good government to fulfill itself against attacks. Okay, and remember, government, by the way, government ain't nothing other than the body that's overseeing any group. Any group. Put that in your mind. Any group of people. Any group. It is no longer time to be scared of this idea of accepting the responsibility to manage yourself according to the affairs of life, according to the rules and policies and procedures and principles that you, your most high, your divine, however you choose to look at it. Even if you don't think like me, you got the freedom and the right to operate as you see fit with people who agree to operate like that. Now, let everybody else go free. Motherfuckers who don't agree to operate like that, they shouldn't and can't be forced to operate like that in a world where people are defending against attacks. Defending against attacks. To defend against an attack may cause you to attack the attacker. To defend against the attack may cause you to align with enemies of the attacker. To defend against the attack may cause you to just regroup, restructure, and relocate. To defend against the attack may cause you to stand on ground, stand firm, fortify, and be ready for whatever, literally. So there's many ways to defend against attack may cause you to tap into those spiritual rituals and those spiritual concepts that affect the mental, that affect the physical, those cosmic principles, and bring those on down with yourself, then increase your ability to influence and co-create down here by maximizing the number of persons and energy vessels, because that's what people are, energy vessels, generators of energy. We need more generation of more energy aligned with the specific goal, and then you can have more influence. So that's why a lot of people, some organizations and governments don't like certain people linking up like Brinks Truck, because when they link up like Brinks Truck and they sharing a certain vibe, that vibe is maximized throughout the eternals, and it has a stronger capacity to influence. All things influence, yet it has a stronger capacity to influence and cause the desired effect. In this realm, this is the effect realm. This is the realm of effect. This is the most condensed energy. So that's all part of overstanding law of nations. If you feel like you got the right to be free and the right to be wealthy, then these are responsibilities that you must accept. The realization in the wake-up phase, that's cool. Everybody said they woke. That's cool. The wake-up is before the action. You got to wake up, then wash up, then work out. Get the fucking shit worked out. Work it out, right? So the wake-up period, our people all over the world, I perceive, the woke-up period is over. Good. You did it. Congratulations. Congratulations. You graduated from waking up. Now, since you're fucking woke, or you're blessed woke, or you're heavenly woke, or you're happily woke, whatever adjective you want, now since you woke, do something about it. Do something about it. Because being woke ain't enough. Knowledge for the sake of knowledge ain't enough. Some wisdom gotta pop in, man. Wisdom, man. Wisdom, man. Gonna have to start actually utilizing those knowledge, that principles. We've been talking about freedom, negotiable instruments, tribes, and all this history. We got enough research throughout the world on YouTube and everywhere for like 87,000 lifetimes. We got enough data. Enough data. Now it's time to link up like Brinks Truck. And, you know, a lot of times I just link up with the cosmic forces, and I'm realizing there's something going on in the cosmic worlds too. As of late, I'm realizing that we got some responsibilities in the cosmic world. I ain't gonna get too deep right now, but we got some shit we supposed to be doing. People was just trying to like astral project for fun and shit, just to go see some shit. It's like a motherfucker just want to peep into your crib, just want to walk by your door and come into your crib and just chill, just to be chilling. Nah, man. If you somewhere, it's a purpose. You got a purpose everywhere. You got a mission everywhere. I'm starting to see that we got a mission even in the astral world. Like it's real like that, but it's real like that. It's very, very real like that. Right? Man. The law of nations goes through most stuff, y'all. Public, common, and private property. Y'all check it out. The link down there. Establishment of a nation in a country. Oh, that's interesting. You feel me? Establishment of a nation in a country. You see what I'm saying? Establishment of a nation in a country. That's 18. That's chapter 18. And that stuff happens a lot of times. Okay? Possessions of a country by a nation. Her right over the part in her possession. Acquisition of the sovereignty in a vacant country. See, that's what they trying to pull in America. They trying to say this shit is vacant. They trying to say all the aboriginals are gone. And now they gonna hold the property in trust until the royals return. So who are the royals? And are they reading enough to actually get this shit done? Reading the signs of the time. If you're not reading the books, it's everywhere. It's in your heart, it's in your mind, it's in the signs of the time. You could look at the sun long enough, or the clouds, or a tree, or a bird, or a plant, or an insect, or anything long enough, and it probably don't give you the same result. Nigga, wake the fuck up and live your life and be fucking free out here, because you can do it with you, yourself, and your people. You feel what I'm saying? The signs of the times is here. You can do it. You got to do it. You better do it. If you don't do it, you're fucked. You see what I'm saying? Like, the signs is everywhere. They've been here. And now the signs are more so showing you how to do it. Yes, you can do it. This is how to do it. This is a solution to do it. This is a tool you can use. Here goes another tool. Here goes another tool. Another tool. Tools fucking galore. Left and right and center of our native country and various matters relating to it, right? So you got a native country, And they talking about what is citizens, what's natives, what's inhabitants, naturalization. And again, this isn't like the God Bible of nations, but this is a man and people who have looked at nations historically and came up with this thing is called the law of nations. And trust and believe it's relevant to how you live. In 20, public, common, and private property, getting into that. What the Romans call res communes, aggregate wealth of a nation in its divisions, 2 modes of acquiring public property, right? Sovereign possessing that power. Now, this is a book, y'all. This was like one of my first wake-up calls, y'all. This is like shit. Like, boom. Take about 15, 20 years ago. Between 15 and 20, probably like 17, I ran across the law of nations. Started realizing, oh, shit. We got a lot of responsibility out here. That's why motherfuckers is living fucked up, because they want the microwave treatment. They want the microwave method of manifestation. Motherfuckers want the microwave manifestation. So if they want the microwave manifestation, that means that they're never going to get manifestation. They're literally getting what, you know, if you want to go to the tribe of Israel story, what Joseph said, Joseph or Joshua, yeah, Joseph, I believe, said that they was going to get from wanting kings of like the world. They say you're going to get a whole bunch of slavery, motherfuckers, basically. You're going to get a whole bunch of slavery. Everything going to be fucked up since you want kings to rule you. Since you don't want to accept the responsibility to be your own governor. You don't want to accept the fact that you're part of the kingdom of heaven on earth, kingdom of heaven on earth. You part of the cosmic kingdom on earth, mother sucker. You part of the whole shit. You don't want to accept the fact that you the God on earth, as it's stated in the book that you like. You shall be known as gods on earth. No, are you known as gods? Through your action, through the way you walk, through the way you talk, through the way you enforce reality, through the way you defend what's right, through the way you and your people, where your people at? Sometimes you got to stand on your own, but I perceive you're never on your own. You're never on your own. Because even me right now, I know I'm rocking with so many cosmic forces, and I rely on that. Okay. And also when it comes to the physical forces, I know that there's people and loved ones and beings throughout the world that, regardless of whether they're physically with me or physically daily doing the works that I have to do, that's my mission, whether they're physically with me and doing the works, they still aligned and in the proper timing with the proper environments and the proper situations. The connections and the connectivity and the unity will show itself, and it shows itself consistently in different ways. You see what I'm saying? Because it's a process. It's a divine process. Even the process of your vision coming to reality ain't microwavable. Even though right now the reality is existing somewhere. That's based upon quantum physics. Based upon quantum physics, whatever reality you perceive that you're looking to build or live, it's already in existence. The fact that you can perceive it, the fact that you wish to believe it, the fact that you wish to build it, it's already in existence. Now, when they talk about experiencing that reality, because quantum physics will show us that reality is like frames per second, meaning in a video, this video, you think it's one video. It looked like one video. But at the end of the day, it may say 720, what is it? Frames per second, right? 720 frames per second, or maybe in 1080 frames per second. That means it's really 1,080 images every second that's hitting you. 1,080 images, very still images, individually. Images hitting you, all moving. It's 1,080 per second. So that's moving so fast that your retina can't distinguish them between each other. So it just looks like one. That's what animation is. We're living in an animated world. So animation is, you think everything is just flowing as one, but it's all individual realities that are collectively one. Yet they're individual realities. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, hey, look, don't be so caught up with trying to make this world a different world, because that ain't what's happening. What's happening is the world you see is already here. The place you at today, you probably dreamed of that one day or wished for that or caused it somehow through decisions of yourself, your people. Somehow it was a thought, an idea, a vision of either yours or some enemies who say, okay, I see these people could be like that, and they put their force on it and made it happen. The point is, it was a thought first. Why was a thought? Quantum physics teaches us that it became a reality, a 3D reality somewhere on this line called time. On this line called time, when you thought it, it became a reality. And then on this line called time, based on free will and choices, you get to experience, like, there's infinite realities around your current moment. And which one you're going to experience is based upon your thought, your willpower during that moment. Takes you to the next one. Then your willpower there takes you to the next one. That's going to take you to that other one, take you to that other one. Now you're in what you call a new world, the other world. But it's already here now. Sometimes, see, that's what it takes for the physical body to experience that new world. Either a series of choices between yourself and others, making a series of choices to connect to that reality, like a game of mazes. Like, you gonna get there if you just make these choices over, and then this one and this one and this one, then you'll see it. Another game of reality could be projecting ourselves there. Just what type of ways will we be thinking in that world? What type of principles will we be thinking? How will we act? How will we feel in that world? And literally, this is a way of traveling to a place. You could spiritually, emotionally, and your people agree to go ahead and have those concepts and those perspectives. And man, I'm trying to tell you, you will will yourself to that 3D reality with your people, like teleportation, in a matter of shortcut choices. You see what I'm saying? It ain't even really shortcut choices. It's more so like if you really want to learn how to travel, you know what I'm saying, galactically, like, it's decisions that you make with others or within yourself. That's all I'm gonna say before taking it too deep. For those who have eyes to see, ears to hear, trust and believe. You know, intergalactical traveling even happens in this world, because that's the only way you can go from one moment to another moment. You see what I'm saying? That's not necessarily on the law of nations and no handbook of banking, but that's real. You see what I'm saying? That's some facts, Jack. All right, we're gonna wrap up this law of nations real quick, and then man, I thought this was gonna be like 20 minutes, and then go to the Oxford Handbook of Banking, right? So this is chapter 21 of alienation of public property or domain and that of a part of a state. Chapter 22 of rivers, streams, and lakes. What's the nation's responsibility for these things? What's the nation's responsibility for the sea? What's the nation considered in her relation to other states? Now you get into international law. Duties of a nation towards other states, or the offices of humanity between nations, right? You see what I'm saying? Now you get into the ambassadorship, you feel me? And diplomatic relations and diplomatic immunity and shit like this and stuff like this, spirits like this, vibes like this, frequencies like this, waves like this. All right. Dang. Wow. How did it go from chapter 13? Oh, it's book 2. So they got a whole nother book of the nation considered in her relation to other states. This is 567 pages, y'all. They're not playing no games with the law of nation. I was on somebody conversation. I'm gonna have to do some videos on this motherfucker and his people. Not negatively, but just to bring some light to it. I was on this man's show, man, and they trying to battle with me. And I'm just trying to present them information. I wasn't even trying to battle. I'm just letting them know. Y'all perceive that y'all tribes. Y'all perceive that y'all got some tribal rights. But you only going to receive the benefits of another nation. You saying that you got a tribal rights only so that you can get benefits from another nation. You want to be a dependent state. You have not accepted the responsibilities of a sovereign. You have not accepted the responsibility to manage and operate your society for the benefit of your people, in the best interest of your people. That's just another level of slavery. And it may be good for some people. I'm not here to put you down, but just know it ain't the real deal, Holyfield. of the mutual commerce between nations, right? These are just concepts that's covered in this book. The dignity of equality of nations, of titles, and other marks of honor, of the right to security, and the effects of the sovereignty and independence of nations. What's the effect of the sovereignty of a nation? What's the effect of the independence of a nation? You got the right to security, of the observance of justice between nations. Got to observe this justice, of the concern of nation, of the concern a nation may have in the actions of her citizens. So it's like these are all concepts and theories and things that are typically and must be addressed by nations. Nations is sovereign groups of people. Sovereign is another word for self-sustainable, meaning you regulating yourself and you accepted the responsibility to hold yourself and your people accountable when needed, and you've accepted the responsibility to handle things as needed. Provide subsistence and regulations as needed. Chapter 6, of the concern of a nation that a nation may have of her citizens. Citizens being people who are part of the nation yet not sovereign, meaning they are part of the nation. They can experience the blessings and the benefits of that nation. Every nation got different blessings and benefits, yet they are not the monarch or they are not the king. Effects of the domain between nations, right? Rules respecting foreigners. Rules respecting foreigners. So I'm here to say right now, when it comes to any nation throughout the world of nations, I am a foreigner to that nation, unless that nation is Love Nation. I'm a foreigner to the world. I'm a foreigner to the world. I'm in the world, but not of the world. So I'm dang sure a foreigner to the nations of the world. Love Nation is the nation I'm part of. Love Nation also is known as the constellation of love. The constellation of love. The constellation of love, man. I call this whole galaxy the constellation of love. Every galaxy, all the galaxies, you add them all up, and that's the constellation of love. Just add all the galaxies, the 88 constellations that you know of, the 88 star constellations, collectively is the constellation of love. And I'm part of that. It's called Love Nation. You feel what I'm saying? So every nation got to establish some type of rule respecting its foreigners. That's part of this law of nation shit. That's part of this. Chapter 6 of the book 2 of the right retained by all nations after the introduction of domain and property. So after you speaking of the domain in which you have jurisdiction over, and then y'all remember, if you go to that taxonomy and what is a family, you'll see these motherfuckers even try to put domain under an animalistic kingdom. These motherfuckers crazy. But what you got to do, if you and when you establish your people, your group, you have to make sure that you're not utilizing the definitions that they have. You could be utilizing the words because these words mean something to us. But we must define them for what they mean to us. What is a family to you? What is a nation to you? What is a kingdom to you? You feel what I'm saying? What is a child to you? Because these words and these terms, when utilizing the foreigners and their definition for the words, you're basically saying you're a slave. All of that, even king. And we go look at the book, the video, what is a family, which is the first video in the Tribes and Trust 101 series, because they got you fucked up out here. Unless you really an animal. Some people may be animals and may be slaves, man, and that's cool with them. Ain't no wrong with it. I ain't even saying there's nothing wrong with that. There's just something wrong with that if you are not that and you have been tricked and duped, bamboozled into being that. So they're saying after you introduce your domain and your property, what rights do you retain? That's what that chapter is about, right? Chapter 11 of usurpation and prescription between nations. usurpation and prescription. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I know about this book. I done read up on the book. I done checked out the book, read some parts of the book for years. I've never read the whole thing from the beginning to the end, and this is my first time acknowledging that I've just seen another word. And when I see a word that I've never heard, I do what it do, and I seek to find out what the meaning of that is. So what I'm going to do here is, for a moment, y'all can follow the flow. I'm going to go ahead and Google, start with a Google search, and see what the heck is this occupation. What is this word? Usurpation. Usurpation. Usurpation is a method by which ownership of property can be gained by possession of it beyond a lapse of a certain period of time. Acquiescence, title to the property by the lapse of a certain period of time. Okay, man, this is just bringing. The more you do some research, a lot of shit gonna come to your mind. But this is basically on some eminent domain shit. You know, a lot of these nations have, you know, legally but unlawfully taken a lot of people's property and land. And in order for something to be legal yet unlawful, they would have had to create some legality, some system of beliefs, and legalize it. And legalizing something is a process by which you say something can happen, right? You establish some rules and regulations for it to happen, therefore it's capable. Yet that may still be going against a certain law, right? So it could be legally, but not unlawful. And as long as the law that it is going against isn't defended or upheld by any group of people or persons, then you can continue that legal operation that is unlawful. You feel what I'm saying? So all let's just bring up is that usurpation, okay, and prescription between nations. Usurpation is basically eminent domain, people taking property, and it got something to do with the Commonwealth too, because a lot of Commonwealth countries, through the Cestui Trust Act of 1666, I believe that's the year, but Cestui Act, right? That was an act that essentially said the royal families have abandoned all of their properties. They've left for overseas territories, and if they don't come back within a certain amount of time, then the common courts and the common persons are going to, the landlords, which were really managing it on behalf of the royal families, they're going to accept it in trust and manage that as, and get the legal title. Legal title is not the same as lawful or loyal title. They're going to have the legal title to that property until the royals come claim it. That's literally the situation that most of all of these provisional governments are in right now. Provisional governments whose heads of the governments are ceremonial. They basically just acting like the heads of nations, but their whole government is provisional, meaning for a temporary time. Until when? Until the real people as we define, not they define people as slaves, but people, until the real sovereign beings, cosmic royal families, those who are awoke and activated. So we just been awoke in time. All the woke mugs. Shout out to the woke persons. Shout out to all you woke people who have just been woke. Now it's time to get activated. Age of Aquarius, bam, popping, happening. Water, bearer, water, wealth, prosperity, boom, it's happening. Captain, unity, link up like Brinks truck. That's why you got woke. You got woke for a reason, for a purpose, to activate and go make it happen. Everything that you dreamed of before you was woke, because you was dreaming, and then you had to wake up to woke to make it happen, Captain. So this is the season to make it happen, Captain. Literally. And that's one piece of the puzzle. That's just one piece of the puzzle, y'all. The law of nations. Now shucky ducky. Okay. Chapter 12, treaties, alliances, and other public treaties. Look, I ain't even reading the book. I'm just going over the chapter titles, y'all. Y'all know this is some shit, kebabs. It's deep, of the dissolution and renewal of treaties. And this was, I was telling some people, until you realize it's this stuff like this is out here, until you realize that there are rules to this shit, then you can't be talking to me about no reparations and shit like that, because that's the slave conversation. Yeah, that's the slave conversation. Massa fuck you over. You feel like they mistreated you. You want them to give you something. At the end and the beginning of the day, through the cosmic laws that I flow with, all things that are for me are already mine. All things that are for me I have is divine. Now we may have to go through and enforce some shit and experience some shit. And you know what I'm saying? Nevertheless, wealth is mine. Infinite wealth. And you can document that. So I've documented that in a way that's even lawful in their world. Okay, we ain't gonna even get into that right now. You're gonna have to tap into the advance of the advance. But this is just the basics to understand what's happening. And at the end of the day, like I was saying, the third pillar being financial pillar, since a lot of people are brainwashed, but they're no longer brainwashed. They're no longer brainwashed. People are no longer brainwashed. People in the universe, throughout the worlds in the cosmos, they totally receive the fact that value is value, that they are value. Their documents are just as valuable as other people's documents. Documents of money, monetary instruments are just as valuable. They are totally woke, and they are activated, and they are willing to accept and receive the promissory notes from their brothers, their sisters, their cousins, their friends, their associates, just like they willing to accept the promissory note of the United States of America or the Federal Reserve or any other. Lawfully, is it internationally lawful? It's lawful in your domestic jurisdiction of the United States. It's lawful everywhere you at. So if you're woke, wake the fuck up, respect the value of the people that you right next to, respect the value of the people all around you, and then everybody immediately wealthy. Do you get it? No, maybe you do. Yes, you do. You get it. What I'm saying is every man, woman, and child has the right to operate right now with monetary instruments, promise to pay a certain value. Those monetary instruments are acceptable forms of exchange between people. As long as you accept them, bow. You can account for that on your taxes. You can, no matter what country you live in. It's not illegal. It's not unlawful. You could do that with each other, except y'all forms of payment. Stop being brainwashed with certain dollars. If you stop being brainwashed with certain dollars, you're going to accept the commerce. You're going to accept the promissory notes of your people. Then y'all can handle business. You can exchange that product, that service, because now you got a promissory note, and everybody's woke. Since you woke, and then the person you go with to handle business with, since they woke, everybody want to be woke, and they activated. Then when you tell them, hey, I'm about to pay you with this promissory note, John gave me, boom, for your product. Now, if everybody wake the fuck up enough to just accept each other's promissory notes and bills of exchange, then everybody in that system is wealthy immediately. People who have products and services, houses, cars, clothes, you feel me, agricultural products, they say, okay, I'm willing to accept the value of other persons, of other people and other families. Boom, I'm willing to accept their value as long as they're willing to accept my value. Now you create a system where everybody willing to accept each other's value. That's called a financial system. And at this point, most people are dealing with financial systems that's not accepting and respecting their value for some fucking reason. Even though it's unlawful, even in those domestic situations, it's unlawful internationally, and I'm here to tell you it's unlawful cosmically. And yes, it's debts to be paid. It's accounts to be balanced on the cosmic side and the physical side and everything. Matter of fact, I perceive I got some karmic cosmic debts that's not so good. If I perceive that, then hey, I'm first time, hey, it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter if you believe it. I don't even care too much. I know that these things are real. I'm going to write a blank check right now to the Most High to cash out, to utilize, however the Most High and the energies of the universe sees fit to utilize as me. And I wish to redeem my bonds from the Most High, or any debt that I have with the Most High, towards the Most High, with this blank check, I'm going to go ahead and give to the Most High. So I, Kyle Manson, this is a promise. I promise to pay on demand a blank amount to the Most High to extinguish all debts and to redeem all bonds of Kyle Manson and any family members. I'm gonna do this for my family too, and any of my family members and tribe members, cosmic tribe members. Now, I myself personally don't really give a fuck what you think. If you think this is real or not, I gives a fuck. Okay, I really gives a fuck. This is a perfect example, though, right? Perfect example of what? Just an example. Example of what? Me, I'm stating, you know what? I perceive that I might have some cosmic debts, you know, especially from experience I just had in the astral realm last night. You see what I'm saying? I perceive I might have some cosmic debts that need to be paid. I perceive that they might be monetary as well. I perceive that this idea of monetary is cosmic, that the idea of energy being given to you that you must compensate for is real, that to whom much is given, much is expected. That is real. And I perceive that I've received a lot of blessings, wisdom, knowledge, assistance, the bonds, a lot of love from the Most High and cosmic forces, ancestors, and everything in the kingdom of heaven on earth, and everything in the kingdom of everything in the kingdom, everything throughout all the locus, everything in Nibiru, everything on this earth, everything in Mu, everything Atlantis, all these different realities and situations that I've been able to experience, even in the Mansa kingdom, say of Mali, Empire, Bow, all of these timelines of my existence, I can sit here and say, I have some karmic debts to pay. Let this be what it is. Let this be my promise to pay on demand, which last night I could say I've sacrificed it all to the Most High. I made myself a living sacrifice to the Most High, and I maintain that living sacrifice to the Most High. Me, I put myself as collateral for the debt that's due to the Most High. This is a system. You either gonna be a slave to man or a slave to who you are, and the Most High to me is part of me. Hey, get that right. I am part of the Most High. Let's get that right. So I, Kyle Manson, right now, I order to pay on demand a blank check. Okay? Blank check. Unlimited amount to the Most High to extinguish all debts and to redeem all bonds of Kyle Manson or whatever name that I'm known of cosmically and throughout any galaxy, throughout any realm, throughout any reality. Okay? Here to extinguish the debts and release the bonds of myself and of my family members, and any and all of my family members, and of my cosmic tribal members, whether I know these persons or not. It's happened cosmically, it happened mentally, it happened spiritually, and I just put it down. Boom. And Love Nation is going to be the trustee of this for the Most High. You see what I'm saying? Love Nation going to be the trustee of this for the Most High. Okay? Period. Blank check. Blank check. Open-ended line of credit can come from that. I'm here to tell you whether you think it's crazy or not, it's in accordance to even your domestic laws, even your international laws, even your banking laws. In this world, I can show you how even that is lawful. Motherfuckers got this shit fucked up. They think this ain't no real shit. Brand-washed again. United States dollars, the only dollars you like. Russia dollars, or the country that you say you live in dollars, the only dollars you like. I'm not against those dollars, bro. Not against those dollars, but I'm here to tell you, you got value too. And your purpose for money is very important as well. What's the purpose of this? Well, some people pray. You could pray. You could do some meditation. You could do a ritual. This might be a ritual. Maybe money is a ritual. You got to document it. You have to evidence the debt. You have to have some collect. Sound like a sacrifice to me. Maybe all these documents are rituals, contracts. What I do and what I believe and what I know to be true does not have to be true to you for it to be real. It does not have to be part of your foreign nation, because you're foreign to me if you're not part of the love nation. And in the love nation, collateral, you can go and look at the Constitution of the Love Nation and see what's the acceptable forms of collateral deposit. Now, this is more likely an acceptable form of collateral deposit, even in your country. This more than likely is a commercial note, a commercial promissory note. This is more than likely a commercial paper. Commercial paper, even to your Federal Reserve, wherever you at. Now, if it's commercial paper, even though it's cosmic based commercial paper, but yeah, it's commercial paper. If it's commercial paper, you go do some research. You tell me if this ain't acceptable form of collateral to your Federal Reserve, motherfuckers, or blessings, people, amazing cosmic star seeds and kings and queens and galaxy conquerors. You amazing people, which you are. Do some research. Find out if the government, which you perceive as your authority figure, accept commercial paper as collateral. For what? Collateral for their form of money, since everybody brainwashed. Because people want United States dollars and Brazil dollars. Well, what happens is you take foreign currencies in banking systems, foreign currencies, you exchange them, and they give you their domestic currency. It's just dollar for dollar. Whatever amount you say your dollars is worth, say it's 20,000 of Bob's dollars or Rory's dollars or John's dollars. Hey, I got 20,000 of mine. I want to operate in your domestic system, so I'm going to exchange this, give this to you. Why don't you go and hit me back with 20,000 of your type of dollars so I can do some business in your world? That's really what foreign exchange is. Motherfuckers got this shit fucked up. But people got it in the right way as well. We're going to speak the good shit too, because it's all balanced out this month. It's all balanced out this month. All right. So look, that's what we're talking about. And this was a great example because, hey, you tell me right now, people not doing something for this. People do prayers. People do rituals for what? They try cosmic debt. They clear the debt and get on the right side with the Most High. Yet there's different systems for everything. Money is a spiritual system. It's the system of value exchange, value transmutation. Okay. And melanated beings are literally like the best evidence of money because melanin allows you, it basically absorbs all type of electromagnetic radiation. So in terms of money, it accepts all forms of money. So you can accept all forms of value, right? And then it has the capability for radio productivity, radio production, and energy transmutation. So what that means, it accepts all types of money, and then it's going to distinguish and distribute money specifically as that money needs to be for the different systems. So I'll take all types of value and we're going to put it out and distribute it in the format that it's needed, when it's needed, where it's needed, for whom it's needed for. That's really money systems. But we just talked about the law of nations. Let's get into something because that we still on the law of nations. What the sucker-bucker of faith and treaties. So nations have to talk about that. See, this ain't for the weak at heart. This ain't for the people who want the quick fix manifestation module. You want to get the quick fix manifestation module, then you don't even deserve to see what's flowing at the bottom of this screen. If you want, basically, if you at this point, you ain't looking for the quick fix, but people who want the quick fix, they don't deserve to see what's at the bottom of the screen right now. Because what I realized in my life was that I was providing a lot of amazing value to people who didn't understand what the value is and what the value is for. I did a lot of things and worked a lot of companies and started a lot of pieces of the puzzle by research, but also for purposes that was divine. And if people experiencing those products or services and they don't know the intention of those products and services, they could misuse the purpose of those products and services. Y'all keep on looking at the law of nations on y'all own, man. It gets into faith and treaties, the faith of treaties. securities given for the observance of treaties, interpretation of treaties, right? Terminating disputes between nations, how you terminate disputes. So this is conflict resolution between nations. We need to check that out, because a lot of feuding in the family fucked a lot of people up. Shit, they on the 3rd book of war. So this gets into war, different kinds of war, and the right of making war, the instruments of war, raising of troops, commanders, subordinate powers in war, the just causes of war. This is part of your family. This is part of your business. This is part of your company. This is part of your tribe. You got to think about this. If you're not, you're a dependent, you're a slave. And you're going to be going to somebody for some help, some master. And it ain't nothing wrong with going to somebody for some help, especially if this person is part of your society or willing to be part of your society or willing to roll with the rules and regulations that you're willing to roll with. This shit gets deep. All right? Of the declaration of war, and of war in due form, of the enemy, of things belonging to the enemy in war, of the enemy's allies, of warlike association, auxiliaries, and subsidies. They talk about war is a part of life. War is a part of business. War is a part of family. War is a part of nationality. War is a part of all this. If somebody talking to you about sovereignty and they not talking about war, then they not really talking about sovereignty. They're talking about dependent sovereignty, being a dependent of someone. And war is happening in your body. Every time you eat some water, drink some water, eat some herbs, eat some foods, eat something that's good for you, it's war going on in your body. What is it doing? It is eradicating anything negative, bringing to light the things that's positive, balancing out all the energies in the way that they should be balanced for the most efficient operation of you as a being. War is part of life. It's raw. It's backwards. War is raw. You want to live the raw life? Then live the war life. Yes. Yes. That whole song, the Negro spiritual song, Study War No More, that was for the slaves. Don't talk about war. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about money. That's for the slaves. Yeah, that's for the slaves. Don't talk about war. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about money. Don't talk about heterosexual lives. Don't talk about men being with women. Don't talk about not raping the kids. Don't talk about that. Don't talk about the family and how the family needs to get on their shit and stop being so motherfucking weak. Don't talk about none of those conversations, because that's some shit that slaves like. Not exercising the muscles. These are muscles. You got to talk about it, get woke, do something about it. All that got to happen. All of that has to happen. That's a fact, Jack. That's a fact, Jack. So the Law of Nations, again, chapter 8 of book 3 of the rights of nations in war. What rights they got? Of what we have a right to do and what we are allowed to do to the enemy persons in a just war. So you know how they got war tribunals. Some companies and some countries go to court. They get, hey, you broke some war laws. The Hague Convention of this or the war law of this. Yeah, there's laws in war. Evidently, if there's war going on, then war is legal. Evidently, if there's war going on, even in the cosmic and the spiritual world, war is lawful. It's lawful and legal. It's raw, the raw life. You want the natural life, the raw life? Or you want the artificial slave, microwavable manifestation? You're really a slave experiencing like 1% of your freedoms, literally. And you just get comfortable with that shit. Y'all, the Law of Nations, man. The Law of Nations, man. It's more to that. Why stop now? I'm just at least just talking about the chapters. I was just finna say shit. We didn't seen enough of this. No, let's just keep going. Look, we got chapters 9 of the right of war with respect to things belonging to the enemy, of faith between enemies, stratagems, artifices of war, spies, and some other practices of the sovereign who wages an unjust war, of the voluntary law of nations as it regards the effects of regular warfare independently of the justice of the cause, of acquisition by war, and particularly of conquest. Yeah, man, a lot of people, a lot of families, a lot of crowns, a lot of castles, a lot of America, a lot of everywhere throughout the world is still booty of war. Booty. property that has been maintained in trust by the conquerors into the changing of the times, the dawn of a new age, which is upon us. The signs of the time of the right to post-millennium. Here we go. Another word. Definition of the right of post-millennium is. I'll read that. But that's 396. Shit. Definition of the right of post-millennium, man. Page 392. Then I'm gonna get back to 5, 6 to 43. Well, man, listen. Hey, look, listen. Tap in yourself. I might start a series where I'm just going over the law of nations, because it's a lot. It's a lot to that. It's a lot to it, and it's a lot to get into, to understand that. For those who start to understand those types of laws and those reasonings, then they are part of they are qualifying themselves to be part of the leadership and the governance of those new governments, in a new government or any government, even old governments that have been existing since eons, for time immemorial, since time immemorial and before time immemorial, since the beginning of time itself and before time itself. All right, so the principle of post-millennium, by the way, though, as a part of public international law, is a specific version of the maxim ex injuria jus non oritur, providing for the invalidity of all illegitimate acts that an occupant may have performed on a given territory after its recapture by the legitimate sovereign. Oh shit, that's definitely some shit not to skip. A whole new level of energy. Hold on, commercial break real quick, because we're about to come back and talk about post-millennium. That's how important. That's why this shit is important, man. People gotta wake the fuck up. They looking for solutions. They looking for something. We gotta go over this shit. This is deep. People looking for solutions, wanting solutions. They look for solutions. We go.
Are you tired of being subjected to rules and regulations that do not serve you or your family? Are you willing to go against the grain in the name of wisdom, freedom, family, honor, and trust? We provide simple solutions to complex problems. Take control of your own affairs in life. Tribe Up with Tribes and Trusts TV.
On our mission now, your time is up. Took us 400 years, had to size you up. Our word is born, no more dividing us. We now know what to do with all these tribes and trusts. I'm overseas with these tribes and trusts. Don't need no other keys but these tribes and trusts. Frequency sovereignty with these tribes and trusts. Watch me get families free with these tribes and trusts. Overstepping your boundaries, I balance you. I'm bona fide, fuck a challenger. Sent the revocation certified, fuck a manager. In control of my soul, fuck a handler. All these assets that's held for the tribes and trusts. Prophecies get fulfilled with the tribes and trusts. Heard they get out of jail with the tribe and trust. Fuck around, get you nailed for the tribe and trust. On our mission now, your time is up. Took us 400 years, had to size you up. Our word is born, no more dividing us. We now know what to do with all these tribes and trusts. I'm overseas with these tribes and trusts. Don't need no other keys but these tribes and trusts. Frequency sovereignty with these tribes and trusts. Watch me get families free with these tribes and trusts. Tribing up, we 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 tribing up with these tribes and trusts. We tribing up, 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 we tribing up with these tribes and trusts. We tribing up, put the tribe in the trust, manifesting this work with the tribe and trust. Resurrected myself with these tribes and trusts. Ancestors left us these tribes and trusts. The people is wising up, yeah. Free all the guys from cuffs. Tribes and trusts, rising up with tribes and trusts.
You heard the Mansa. Tribe up and take care of your own affairs in life. Your life depends on it. Your future depends on it. Your family depends on it. Establish your family tribes and trusts with Kyle Mansa, founder of Love Nation American Indians. If you need advanced or rush services, schedule a consultation.
What do we have here? What do we have here? Man. Post-millennium. See, a lot of people just need to know that it is okay, it's legal, it's lawful for you to get on their asses, for you to get what's yours, for you to take what's yours, for you to claim what's yours, for you to reestablish your royalty, for you to stop playing with these motherfuckers, for you to get your shit done in this bitch, right? So here goes another piece of evidence that it's okay for you to do what the fuck you gotta do in this motherfucker, all right? The principles of post-millennium is principles as a part of public international law. So it's a part of public international law. And you cannot get the benefits of international law if you're not a nation. Remember that. If you just want to be some domesticated beings who civilized tribes, domestic ass federal recognized tribe on a reservation, instead of say, I could take 100 million of your acres and say, here goes your reservation of 65 acres. Oh, thank you, Massa, for that federal recognition. I appreciate you so much. I ain't gonna start no fuss. Bullshit ass bullshit. Well, it's time to implement post-millennium up in this motherfucker. The principle of post-millennium is a part of public international law. It's a specific version of the maxim ex injuria just non oritur. I might have mispronounced that shit, but it sounded good. Ex injuria just non oritur. See, this ancient Roman shit, right? It provides for the, check it out, I'm gonna slow. Invalidity. It provides for the invalidity. That means that shit is invalid, no longer valid. The invalidity of all illegitimate acts that an occupant may have performed on a given territory after, but look, when can you do this post-millennium shit? After it's recaptured by the legitimate sovereign. So, for all those aboriginal lands, for all those aboriginal people all throughout the world, Craig, throughout the world, Craig, for all the aboriginals throughout the world who perceive, and even these motherfuckers is like putting it all on the motherfucking news and shit. These motherfuckers is celebrating. Hey, yes, we have to say, world. Hold on. Wait a minute, world. This how they come. World, we have to say, we have to say that all the wealth that we have, all the banks that we own, all the land that we have, all the castles that we are, claiming, all the governments that we are provisional governments of, all these ceremonial positions we have, all the land, we have to say that we took this shit from your ancestors, and we have to say, that was so bad. We have to say, some of us say we're sorry. We hope you forgive us. We may set up a day for you. We're going to set up a day for you where you don't have to work on the plantation field, but still, for the plantation to go, a lot of you will still have to go to work. Yet, we're going to set up a day for you. We took everything from you. All of what we have is yours, plus all the shit that's unrecognized and all the unrecognized territories, all the unincorporated territories are yours. All the national parks are yours. All of the systems have been developed with money that we have been stealing from you. Legally though, because we are trustees, we are the administration, we are the banks, we are the insurance providers, we are the government, and we have to tell you that thank you for your patience and your citizenry. we got to say it's election time, and you should definitely vote. Yeah, that's what they got for you. That's what they got for you. They telling you, we took your shit, we took your land, we took your castles, we took your money, everything we have, including our exchange systems, every fucking thing literally is y'all's. But we gonna manage this shit until y'all get y'all shit together and find out, you know, what y'all really want to do with this shit. That's literally what all the laws say. If we break all this shit down, we do 700,000 years of research. It's already happened. Everybody's seeing the shit. I ain't trying to spend too much time on the fucking shit because the activation part is here. The solution is here, and how we could link up like Brinks truck is here. But evidently, we got to slow down, break it down, and let them know the governments of all the worlds are temporary, provisional. They are trustees managing property for you and all the people around you, every color, every race, literally. And that may got some in the fuss. Every race, every color, every religion, all of y'all people's properties are being managed by those people you call the government for you until you get your shit together and find out what you want to do with that shit and what you gonna do with that shit and how you gonna do that shit and when you gonna do that shit. You need to determine, and once you determine that and you set up your organizations, what they're clearly saying here is that the law is always on your side. The law is clearly telling you that once you get your shit together, when it says after it is recaptured by the legitimate sovereign, if you are the real sovereign, they even telling you in their books, they took all this shit from you. The fucking Pope said he repudiated the doctrine of discovery. Repudiation isn't the same as rescinding. And repudiation ain't the same as getting the fuck out of power, motherfucker. Stop acting like you a power, you ceremonial ass. I'm just like, what the fuck is there to be sorry about? Nothing to be sorry about anymore. Like, your ceremonial position, you see what I'm saying? Provisional government. Like, at the end and the beginning of the day, though, folks, this is the hard pill to swallow. Let's get about the hard pill to swallow. The hard pill to swallow is the bullshit ass, fucked up ass system that everybody's saying they don't like. It's better than that imaginary ass, non-existent ass system that you say you want to live in. So until that non-existent ass imaginary system is documented and actually real and operating, even in its most minuscule aspect, even if it's just on paper and on faith, and you got people that's down and willing, y'all overstand a system that's way more existence than the non-existent ass wish and a hope and a dream of the world to be something. And a lot of people has fucking lost the hope and the dream for the world to become something new. Just fuck it. Fuck it. They say fuck it. We're waiting on the hereafter. Fuck it. So they don't even qualify for the conversation of this. They don't even qualify. Nevertheless, what's postliminarium? Postliminium states that literally, man, all that injustice, y'all. The world got it Googleable, man. You can Google all the wars of the world, all the bullshit that countries and people and wars you put yourself through, your ancestors put themselves through, their enemies put them through. All people is damn near guilty and shit. We gotta turn away from their ways and the wickedness, redeem your bonds, balance the books, get the shit straight, identify what's the rules and regulations you're moving forth with, respect the value of everybody, reclaim through actually recapturing the locales. And what's so funny and what's amazing that people must realize is that putting a lien on ownership documents of an asset is the evidence that you have total control of the underlying assets. So leaning these motherfuckers in their documentation is the same as conquering the asset in law. You have to get into that. You have to know some shit about that. And then you got to use your right of enforcement after you do that. Your people got to be on point. Utilize the systems for what they are. They are malleable. The systems are malleable. Different systems are malleable. They can be changed. You got the sheriff, the police department, all these people, the bank systems right now. They are what they are now. But in a new world order, their systems and their structures and their infrastructures will be utilized for something else. It ain't saying that they won't be here. They'll just be utilized for something else, to play a different position, a different role in a different aspect. That's just how life is, because energy is never fucking dead. Energy just transmutes, right? So part of this alchemy of life, part of the alchemy of societies, and we're talking about being free and having wealth, is alchemy. So in order to that happen from the situations we're dealing with, gonna deal with the situations that we're dealing with, utilize the organizations, the institutions, the realities that we have, yet reorganize them to be utilized in a different way. Literally. What you'll realize is cosmic law is still capable of being influenced and implemented in this world. And let's just like break that down. Post-millennium, basically, y'all. Do some more research. It's public international law saying, basically, you've been conquered, your people been conquered. You got the right to invalidate all of those illegitimate acts. It even goes to say that all the titles, all the land, all of the assets that has been misplaced in different hands of different people. You see what I'm saying? They got all these different houses and lined up and all these owners and shit. They took over your shit and created this whole new world on top of your shit. What they saying is you got the right to reconquer your shit. And once you reconquer your shit, they saying you got the right now to invalidate all their acts. It said, therefore, if the occupant has appropriated and sold public or private property that may not legitimately be appropriated by a military occupant, because they are and have been a military occupant. Who are they? We know who we talk about. We know they know who we talk about. What the fuck? Fucking strange ass bullshit ass reality about it is I ain't even got no problem with these motherfuckers. And I said that because it wouldn't, in the law of life, in the cosmic reality, it would not be a need for them if we was 100% on our shit. If we was handling our spiritual realities how we needed to, if we handling our business, our defense, we had taken care of shit how we need to, they wouldn't be who they are right now. And even in their laws, they're acknowledging that they provisional, meaning temporary. They're acknowledging that their position is ceremonial. And while you in the capacity of a slave, you're not fully operating your sovereign capacities with your people, then they're going to still treat you like that. It is what it is. Yes, war is real. Yes, force is real. Yes, you must be able to defend against the attackers or be capable or be willing to, minimally, if you choose to operate in your sovereign capacity with the Most High. No, none other being between you and the Most High. It's you and the Most High. Fuck, you don't need no God above you just to tell you what the fuck to do. You are God, the gods of the earth, the goddesses of the earth. And ain't nothing wrong with being a servant to the God. Like literally, that's the position. So ain't nothing wrong with servants, y'all, and employees or people that handle business for you. People you get shit to do, they doing shit for you. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, we didn't let the motherfucking kids take over the motherfucking kitchen. Fuck going on around this motherfucker? Right? So they saying, therefore, like we gonna wrap this one up. This is just a great realization. This ain't nothing but a great realization. This is just a great realization where we seeing that the ability for you to take over your shit is even installed in their law of what they call law. You see what I'm saying? Post-millennium, y'all. A little bit more about this post-millennium, then we're going to go to the Oxford Dictionary of Banking. That shit is 1,000 pages. We ain't going to go, we going to just introduce it and then move on or something because there's a lot to do in this universe. All right. So what is it stating? Therefore, if the occupant has appropriated the property, if they did all of that shit, they appropriated the property, the private property, public property, they saying that they own it with their fee simple titles and shit. It's not a loyal. They saying they can do all of that shit. Then it's saying once you, as the original parties, you recapture the legitimate sovereign, you recapture it as a legitimate sovereign, you recapture it as a legitimate sovereign, then the owner may reclaim the property without payment of compensation. This is a law. It derives from Ea's post-limini of Roman law. The codification of large areas of international law have been post-liminium to a great extent superfluous, though. It may either be seen as a historical concept or a term generally describing the consequences to to legal acts of an occupant after the termination of an occupation. So after the termination of an occupation, y'all, we need to be terminating some occupations around this motherfucker. Come on. Come on with the come on. Terminate the occupation where the occupation is unjust. You're already on your land that you own. Your people are already on your land. Most people are already on their land. Just terminate the occupation, and you're going to realize you're really just terminating a artificial entity and fake rules, regulations, and statutory codes that don't service you right. And in order to do that, you got to be right. You got to be set up. You got to come through as a legitimate force yourself. Y'all see the reason and the purpose of these tribes and trusts? Like, the fuck? The trusts themselves, the property, the governments are trust. It's a trust relationship. They managing all your resources, man, as occupying military forces. The fuck? What's going on around this motherfucker? Can't get out the fucking knot if you don't untie the shoestring. To untie the shoestring, you got to use the shoestring that's there. A lot of people is in this life living, talking about some freedom and solutions, but really all they're looking for is comfort during this lifetime. They're not talking about setting up a motherfucking system for multiple generations or a blessed system for the end of this bullshit. For the end of the bullshit. And the bringing on of a new dawn of civilization. Not civilization, of free cosmic societies. Civilized nations are nothing other than domestic nations who have been conquered. Their military occupation is still happening, and all of their assets are held in trust by the trustee. They ain't got legal title, and they may have legal title, but they ain't got a loyal and they ain't got lawful title. They're not experiencing the enjoyments of their beneficiary rights. Fuck out of here. We need all of that. Or I do. And minimally, because I realize I do. And, I realize that we do, because there is no me without us. Regardless of whether people like to accept that divinity and they have a divided matrix that they have accepted. Last but not least, y'all, let's go into these banking laws, because there's laws of banking. There's a handbooks of banking. You can get into some you can get to realize these principles. That's what this is about. This video is about allowing people to realize the principles of the laws of nations. You're letting people realize the principles of sovereignty. They made that word like it's an outlaw, like it's a word that is illegal. Ooh, the word sovereignty is illegal. You shouldn't be saying it. Oh, this site, this where y'all seeing on the screen there, that's where I found that's where I downloaded the Oxford Handbook of Banking Principles. I myself personally, I get knowledge and truth everywhere knowledge and truth is. You feel me? So you can go to that site if you want to, get access to that. Yeah, for now, I'm going to just share it with y'all. Let y'all see what this is about. So where are we at and why are we here? Well, during this lecture, we were talking about the Law of Nations, Handbook of Banking, right? We're talking about the fact that you are free and you are wealthy. You deserve it. Well, you might not be free. You might not be wealthy, but you are capable of being free and you are capable of being wealthy. Somewhere you are currently free and you are currently wealthy. Somebody know you are wealthy and somebody know you are free. If you get to know it and acting like it, then you can get to experience those worlds that are already here. Your world of freedom and your world of wealth, right? So this is along the conversation. We talked about the Law of Nations. We went over some chapters that's in the Law of Nations. Well, first I was talking some shit, not shit, but some real shit. Then got into the Law of Nations. Then now we're going to talk about, we got into a post-millennium. See, that's what'll happen. That's what'll happen. I mean, a lot of truths just keep getting reinforced. We just keep needing reinforcement of a lot of these cosmic truths to build up an army. Fuck you talking about? They know what it is. Spiritual army. An emotional army. Yeah, a physical army too. All this shit, man. Can't be scared of the reality of the world. What is happening? You must defend yourself. call it an army, you can call it a security force, you can call it self-defense. It don't even matter no more what words you use, man. Just don't be scared of accepting the responsibility of defending yourself for what you build. Because if you building something and it's bigger than something you could defend, you might as well just go ahead and either increase your capability of defense or decrease your manifestation goal. You feel what I'm saying? Because I mean, shit. Who is you fucking playing with? Who is we playing with? Who is we playing with? Kids, children, like we can't even play with them no more. There ain't even no time to play with children no more. Like no bullshit talk. I'm talking about some regular life. Like you can't be telling them no bullshit that ain't real. They ain't hearing it. They ain't feeling it. They can see the truth from the lie. It is what the fuck it is. It is very clear to see. All right. So let's go down this banking wormhole real quick. It's, as y'all can see right here, it's 1,304 pages. Nah, we ain't going through all these pages right now. And yeah, just like on that Law of Nations thing, we might take this conversation and create a whole series or something from it. But you know, like, I also might just drop other audio podcasts of other people because I'm not here to spend all of my time doing in-depth education about certain topics. The goal of this, even Tribes and Trust, is to introduce you to Love Nations, to Love Nation, right? And Tribes and Trust is to introduce you to principles that tribes should be considering, principles that trust should be considering, principles that families should be considering. This is about like helping you like condense some of your research to understand what concepts you have to operate on. And when I'm talking about to introduce you to Love Nation is a nation of tribes. It's a nation for nations. It's a nation here to serve nations. So it's not like a nation that you have to identify with exclusively. It is a nation that is set up to assist you in developing nations that you wish to develop for yourself and others. It's also a nation here to assist you if you already got nation tribes, because I see a lot of nations, a lot of tribes without the complete systems of sovereignty. Hey, it is what it is. I see a lot of nations and tribes without the complete systems of sovereignty. That's just what it is. So they still looking for a domesticated sovereigns. They're still looking for other sovereigns who have more well-defined systems to be their trustees, shall we say, or their administrators. And it is what it is. I'm not here to stop that relationship. It's just for those persons I see for those persons who seek to have their systems properly established and to seek to operate that way with their people, you know, lawfully and legally, then Love Nation's here. And then for those people who perceive that that's why they're here on this world, that their mission, part of their mission is to keep the fire, you feel me? Like you had the Council of Three Fires. And I've realized and seen from being born Kevin Caldwell, birth as Kevin Caldwell, being related to William Caldwell and being related to William Caldwell and Billy Caldwell, being related to Billy Caldwell, who's a friend and one of the companions of Tecumseh, you feel me, and who actually was part of the Grand Three Councils, and seeing that the tribe that he's in, that's part of my heritage as well, is Potawatomi tribe, and that Potawatomi Council is the youngest, they call the youngest members in the Grand Council of Three, the Grand Council of Three Fires, and they was in the keepers of the fire. And to be the keepers of the fire, that means the keepers of the nation. And before I even seen that and knew that, you know, as I'm doing my research from the history, and the history and the lineage get deep, it's that deep, it's deeper too, it's wide, it's extensive, it's cosmic. You see what I'm saying? But before even getting into all of that, I was on the path of knowing about nationhood, statehood, like being willing and like literally, like, let's do this. Let's put together the systems that states need, that tribes need, that families need to operate efficiently, man. What the fuck you talking about? And then, yeah, it's some natural born enemies, it's some spiritual born enemies, and it's some natural born friends, some spirit born friends, and even the enemy at some level ain't the enemy. That's just where I'm at with all this. I can't be scared of being who I am. What the fuck type of life is that? You see what I'm saying? So, but let's get into this. International banking, right? The Oxford Handbook of Banking, 3rd edition. Oxford Handbook of Banking, man. And this is important because this is the 3rd pillar of your society. You're talking about you want to be free and wealthy. Yeah, you deserve to be free and wealthy. You're deserving it, accepting the responsibility for it, 2 different things. So now since you're woke, everybody want to be woke. Now it's time to activate because everybody want to get paid, literally. So, and to respect each other's value, we can get into that. It's some magic into that and respecting of each other's value. You'll be able to set up a foreign exchange system that is amazing, right? So let's just go over the types of things that's spoken of in this handbook of banking, right? I'm not going to read the preface or the acknowledgments. Y'all can do that on your own time. I literally showed you the website where you can find this at. And then on that website, just be careful not to download some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I might download this and create a file with this and other important documents and let people get them. You know what I'm saying? So part 1 of theory of banking. So it goes over theory of banking, the roles of banks and financial systems, commercial banking, shadow banking, corporate complexity and systematic risks. You feel me? Systemic risks, corporate governance and culture in banking, private information and risk management in banking. If you ain't willing to accept these responsibilities, then just keep going with the flow of whatever massa does and whatever massa allows you to get easily and freely. Part 2, activities and performance, right? Payments. This gets into community banking institutions, Islamic banking institutions. Can we improve the impact of microfinance? Just many things. Securitization, shadow banking, regulatory and policy perspectives. You know, what's up with modern central banks? Who's the lenders of last resort? What's banks bailouts and bank bail-ins? We're hearing a lot of this. Bank runs, bank capital requirements, market disciplines, competition in banking sectors. You feel me? Macro economic perspective. Hey, in the last video we dropped about trust and that the fact that trust are financial institutions, that's important. Check that out because I was getting into a lot of the systems that you could utilize to even operate your own banking system as a trust. You feel me? Like these are systems that you and knowledge that you have to have. You know, we implemented in Love Nation and we help tribes and sustainable and self-sustainable families and systems do that. Yeah, first you got to be a tribe. You got to be a self-sustainable system. So we had tribes and trust, which is the first stop. Tribes and trust. Establish a tribe, establish a trust. And then, you know, you can move on to Love Nation, which is the systems to operate those tribes and trusts efficiently for yourselves and others. All right. So all of this is some good knowledge. Banking systems around the world are getting into those. And it's important to understand this if you accepting the responsibility to handle business for your family, for yourself, and engage and join the international community of nations. Or don't join them, just be you and get respected by them because you damn sure ain't gonna get respected if you ain't you. And you damn sure can't join them if ain't you. And damn sure ain't no reason to join them if joining them decreases your right of sovereignty for yourself. So it's a lot of things to consider. And if you don't want to consider that, it's okay being a slave, whether you're the type of slave that likes being a slave or you're the type of slave that likes to brainwash yourself and believe that you're not a slave. It don't even matter. Banking systems around the world. You know, banking systems in the United States, Europe, Japan, Africa, China, they all got different systems, different rules and regulations with they security depository institutions, different rules and regulations with they settling and clearing agencies. And those are some key components to this. And you got, man, it gets deep. You ain't going to drop all the sauce on one video because it ain't going to happen like that. Banking in Australia and New Zealand and all of that. List of figures, right? This is just numbers that they're going to go over. Numbers within this book. Securitization numbers, just numbers analyzing the system. You see what I'm saying? Of financial banking. Gap accounting and gaps in accounting, different accounting capabilities. But this is a nice book, and they got tables and shit for you. This is a nice book for you to go over if you want to get deep into overstanding and understanding and inner standing and outer standing and middle standing and higher standing and lower standing. Banking, right? And it's a list of abbreviations. We don't get too deep into this, but just know this. You got the right to establish your own private financial institutions. More than likely, you're already part of one, whether you know it or not. Secondly, you got the right to operate your own banking institutions. And those rights you have, depending upon what classification you accept as yourself. And especially since we're talking about sovereignty and operating your family and operating your business and operating your tribe as you see fit in the right way. When you accept that responsibility, you dang sure got the right and responsibility to do these types of things. And if you accept the right and responsibility, then you accept the right and responsibility to learn amongst yourself or others. Get the knowledge as quick as you can get it. Or let somebody who got the knowledge run that part of your nation or your tribe. You ain't got to run yourself wild and try to learn a certain aspect. You might just realize, okay, this is an aspect that we need taken care of in our nation. And you can do that internally. You can hire an outside party to do that. That's true as well. You don't have to master everything to have that aspect of operating for you. You don't have to master banking to be able to have banking operating for your benefit. You don't have to master sovereignty to be able to operate sovereignty for your benefit. But it'll be great and a blessing for you to understand it, to know it, to get to sense what the elements of that is so that you can make sure that that is taken care of in your community. You might know somebody who knows that. You might be able to hire an organization, an entity, especially as you get to operating lawfully with your financial instruments and your monetary instruments. And we need more of us. We need more of us awakened and activated persons, beings who accept the responsibility to handle their affairs. And that's why we're here with Tribes and Trusts, y'all. Hope you got some knowledge. Hope you got some game. I know you got some knowledge. I know you got some game. And I know you can subscribe. Right now, we looking interesting at 26 subscribers. Appreciate the 26 subscribers. This is the same 26 subscribers that I started this with. It was Kyle Manson. It ain't a problem. I ain't tripping. By the time you watch this, I might be pipping 33,000 up. You feel me? We might be 33,000 subscribers in, or 3,300 subscribers, 333 subscribers up. Nevertheless, subscribe. You know what it is. You know what it do. More than likely, I ain't going to be monetizing all that because I'm going to be talking some real shit, and I ain't going to stop talking some real shit, and we going to monetize through other means by just, tapping into the Tribes and Trust services. If you feel like you need a tribe, you feel like you need a trust, you feel like you got a tribe, y'all just need y'all paper shit right, tap in, send an email. At the end and the beginning of the day, it is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. Pray you remain peaceful. Pray that you remain knowledgeable. Pray that you realize you deserve freedom and wealth. Pray that you accept the responsibility for that freedom and wealth. You don't accept no microwavable manifestation modes, matrices of manifested microwavable manifestations. Fuck all that bullshit. You accept the real responsibility. Some things may seem microwavable if you put the right resources in the right environment together. It seems like magic, and it only is cause and effect. So cause your desired effect. Live your life. Build your tribe. Fuck the bullshit. Keep it pushing. Matter of fact, we're going to end it with what we started with.
Are you tired of being subjected to rules and regulations that do not serve you or your family? Are you willing to go against the grain in the name of wisdom, freedom, family, honor, and trust? We provide simple solutions to complex problems. Take control of your own affairs in life. Tribe Up with Tribes and Trusts TV.
On our mission now, your time is up. Took us 400 years, had to size you up. Our word is born, no more dividing us. We now know what to do with all these tribes and trusts. I'm overseas with these tribes and trusts. Don't need no other keys but these tribes and trusts. Frequency sovereignty with these tribes and trusts. Watch me get families free with these tribes and trusts. Overstepping your boundaries, I balance you. I'm bona fide, fuck a challenger. Sent the revocation certified, fuck a manager. In control of my soul, fuck a handler. All these assets that's held for the tribes and trusts. Prophecies get fulfilled with the tribes and trusts. Heard they get out of jail with the tribe and trust. Fuck around, get you nailed for the tribe and trust. On our mission now, your time is up. Took us 400 years, had to size you up. Our word is born, no more dividing us. We now know what to do with all these tribes and trusts. I'm overseas with these tribes and trusts. Don't need no other keys but these tribes and trusts. Frequency sovereignty with these tribes and trusts. Watch me get families free with these tribes and trusts. Tribing up, we 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 tribing up with these tribes and trusts. We tribing up, we tribing up, we tribing up, we tribing up, we trapping up, we trapping up, we trapping up with these tribes and trusts. We trapping up, put the trap in the trust, manifesting this wealth with the tribe and trust. Resurrecting myself with these tribes and trusts. Ancestors left us these tribes and trusts. The people is wising up, yeah. Free all the guys from cuffs. Tribes and trusts, rising up with tribes and trusts.
You heard the Mansa. Tribe up and take care of your own affairs in life. Your life depends on it. Your future depends on it. Your family depends on it. Establish your family tribes and trusts with Kyle Mansa, founder of Love Nation American Indians. If you need advanced or rush services, schedule a consultation.